Okay guys, so let's go ahead and try to cover some more topics. Last time we talked about um, the cluster topic, high availability, DRS, and affinity rules there. So lots of spicy questions will be coming your way in the final exam because we've covered some more tougher topics now. So, and there are still more coming there. Now, last time we checked about EVC as well, enhanced Vmotion compatibility, and many of us were actually not able to get their processors detected by the enhanced Vmotion compatibility feature inside the cluster, and some actually were able to get those features like the processor compatibility for pretty much every processor. So that was also strange and amazing. So what we need to do is first I'll just ask you a quick one, and that is the question between, so when do we use HA and when do we use DRS? So yeah, that's a question. Anyone has quick answers? When do we use, when HA kicks in, when DRS kicks in? When do we use HA, DRS? Anyone? So when HA kicks in or gets triggered. So that's the question first. Okay, so Himan says HA for availability of VMs in disaster, DRS for resources balance. Okay, nice. Arthi says HA kicks in when there can be downtime off. Downtime of what? So it is important to know that what gets downtime and HA kicks in, right? So if virtual machine has a downtime only, that's not where HA kicks in. DRS for degraded performance, HA for disaster. Disaster of what, Feroz? And Iman was also saying for disaster of what? So guys, you have to clearly mention that in the interview as well. Suppose this was an interview, and they would ask the same question: when does HA kicks in? So HA kicks in when what goes down? Some disaster happens on what? So you have to be a bit more elaborative here. In case there is an issue with the ESXi host, exactly. So disaster strikes on ESXi host. So that's when HA kicks in, right? So HA gets triggered when ESXi host crashes, right? So when HA kicks in and ESXi host crashes, so what happens to the virtual machines? What happens to the virtual machines? Host is down. What happens to the virtual machines? Anyone? If HA is enabled, VMs moved. Yes, HA is enabled, and yes, okay, exactly. That's great. So moved, yes, one thing. Oh, sorry, moved. Yeah, really? So Arthi said restarts. That's the proper term for that. Moved means actually Vmotion, and HA Vmotion requires a server to still stay powered on to execute Vmotion, Vmotion or moving a machine, right? This is called here restarting. Badu says disconnected, yes, and machines are restarted on other ESXi, exactly. So moved in the interview they will catch you for that, right? So move would be, oh, so they would just simply ask, cross question you, oh, so when HA kicks in, so virtual machines are Vmotioned. So you have to say no, they're not Vmotioned. Vmotion only happens when hosts are up and running, and if the host crashes, Vmotion is not possible, right? And machines are restarted. That's the term. And well, but others, pretty much you have talked about DR when DRS kicks in, and DRS is exactly the host must be up, and but it's just having degraded performance, and then degrade performance when this happens. So Vmotion is performed by DRS. That's it. So it just Vmotions the virtual machines with a better host, better performing host, right? So DRS HA. Now, can DRS do anything if host is down? So DRS totally is dependent on Vmotion feature to be enabled, and if the host is down, Vmotion is not possible. So DRS can't do anything if the host goes down. That's when HA kicks in, right? It restarts the machines on the surviving other hosts and distributes the machine. So I'm going to be asking about questions about proactive HA in quiz and admission control in quiz. So yeah, we discussed those in that very long, boring lecture. Like interesting lecture last class. So okay, guys, here we still have to cover more, and that is fault tolerance. One of the other mucho critical feature, right? So that's really critical feature here. FT, and how does HA, DRS, and FT compare? So, okay, we know HA gets triggered when ESXi host crashes, and it restarts VMs on other hosts. Okay, other physical hosts. DRS if the degrade performance is there. But then when do you use FT? So when a VM crashes, the the application on the VM gets failed over to its secondary / standby VM on the other host. So when we talk about HA, there is downtime, yes. When we talk about FT, so that's a specialty of that. It has no downtime, so no downtown, right? No downtown. Okay, no downtime. So this means that it's and also they claim that it's zero data loss. How is it zero data loss, right? So we're going to talk about that in diagram now. FT or fault tolerance when a VM it's not only just a VM host crashes, and it's just whatever's inside that VM gets failed over to the secondary VM, which was copying everything till the last second from the first VM, right? So when and let me just add that primary. So in VMware, in fault tolerance, we call the active VM as primary VM and passive VM as secondary VM, right? So let's talk about it in English now. Oh, okay, like in more detail, in elaboration, right? So let me get that diagram thingy. Oh, where's that? Okay, I'll grab it from VMware classes. Okay, there you go. All right. So anyone wants to actually, well, that's just separate from this. Anyone wants to do Microsoft Azure 103, which is also critical. So it's expiring on August 31. If you want some training material for that or questions, let me know. Okay, that was just for your own good, for your own resume, that you should be Azure administrator certified, because there's so many jobs for Azure in GTA, in Greater Toronto area. Okay, so and yes, the certification for this VMware is so critical, and you must be preparing for AWS anyway. So any material you need for that, Azure, AWS, VMware, let me know. I will be sending you the exam questions for that, for the certification itself. Okay, so now we're back to this. So there's FT here, and FT is fault tolerance. So it's gonna tolerate the fault, and fault being that a VM or a host goes down. Basically, a VM goes down. So first of all, you can't. Suppose there are 10 machines or 20 machines here, right? So you can't just enable fault tolerance on every virtual machine, right? So fault tolerance is for only critical virtual machines. Okay, so I'll just put that. FT is for critical VMs. Second thing, FT requires VM kernel adapters configured. So we're going to be doing that. And FT also, FT consumes a lot of bandwidth. Why? So FT consumes a lot of bandwidth. And yes, when we're talking about benefits, so zero data loss and quick failover. It offers zero data loss and quick failover. So some of the main points for the interview as well as for the quiz or the final quiz. So this, let's talk about it. So we were talking about the FT. So here, this is the virtual machine, and its virtual disk is actually on this data store here. So if we have, suppose this is a very critical virtual machine here, and its partner virtual machine needs to be created. So boss says, hey, because FT is a feature that is available for us, so why don't you just configure this? This is a very critical virtual machine, so why don't you create a fault tolerance for that, right? So okay, you say, and then you start configuring a fault tolerance. So you create another secondary VM, or when you configure FT, when you run the wizard on this virtual machine, the critical one, so the wizard asks that where do you want to create its partner virtual machine? Suppose you have E6i2, E6i3, E6i4, 5, 6, 10, 20, 30. So it will ask that initially where do you want that ESXi hypervisor to be, and on which hypervisor you want this partner standby secondary virtual machine to be. So you will choose some hypervisor. Then it will ask, the wizard will ask that which data store do you want the virtual disk of the secondary VM. Suppose you create that on the same data store here, the secondary VM's virtual disks, where the primary VM's virtual disk is also there. So is there a problem with that, or is it okay? Anyone can tell me that? Should it not be done, or it's okay to be done like this? The active, and so here it will be, this is active, this is passive, right? Passive. So the question is that so Madhuri says not okay. So that active VM's virtual disk is in this data store. There are other data stores as well, but you're putting the passive VM's virtual disk in the same data store as active VM's data store. So is there something wrong with that? Is it right? Is it correct? Is it best practice? So it shouldn't, as it doesn't fulfill requirement of redundancy. Okay, Ajibullah says that. And
I think it should be okay because in case of failure, they need to be connected to the same one, so we can have Vmotion.
Okay, that could be. There's a point here, and Anthony says single point of failure. There you go. So and Ajibullah says requirement yes, exactly. Mother says not okay. So the reason there is exactly as Anthony and others said, single point of failure. So that's not a best practice when you have other. Suppose this data store actually crashes, goes down, not available. So both of the virtual machines are virtual disks are gone. So it was supposed to, the first VM was supposed to fail over to the second VM, but the second VM was also on the same data store. So that's becoming a single point of failure. So that's why it is actually not recommended to have the virtual machines there created. It should be created in the other data store here, and we should be very careful when we're doing that. So now 6.0 version, the previous version was actually allowing, or was not allowing us to put the secondary VM's virtual disk on the same data store where the primary virtual machine's virtual disk was. But in 6.5, they are now allowing you to do that. Suppose you have only one data store available right now, right? So it's not recommended. It's against redundancy, or it is a single point of failure then. But 6.5 version allow you to actually put that secondary virtual machines virtual disk on the same data store as the primary virtual machines virtual disk is, which is not a good idea. So that's what we are discussing. But what we're going to do is, since we have 3 data stores, LAN-based data stores, so we're going to just place the secondary virtual machines virtual disk on a separate data store as a best practice. So exactly. So if I go for now active, what I'm saying here, VMware calls it primary, right? And passive, what we call there is actually going to be actives. Passive is called secondary. So secondary, right? So active or primary, passive or secondary. So now suppose you have configured the active machine and its partner standby or passive machine. Now this, what is the, so partner machine or the active machine, what it is doing, it is actually receiving end user connections, right? End user, end user, end user, end user, right? So and the passive machine is doing what? Anyone can tell me what is passive machine's purpose and what it is continuously doing? Maybe I've asked that before as well.
It would be copying data from the primary one to be ready in case there's a failure.
Exactly, you got it. Replica of original, yeah, and exactly, it's copying data. So then the next question is, it is asynchronous replication or it is synchronous replication. What is it? So is it asynchronous or synchronous? Which one?
Asynchronous.
So everyone agrees to that. So the type of replication that has to go between them, is it asynchronous or is it synchronous replication? Madhuri says gets heartbeats. Yes. So are you live? Are you live? Are you live? Packets are always going. But what is that replication? So what's the difference between asynchronous replication and synchronous replication? That's then the question is, and which one is going on between these two virtual machines?
I think asynchronous is the one that keeps going in the background. You don't have to do it manually. Synchronous is the one that you have to initiate.
Well, kinda. So anyone else wants to also have a try? So yeah, they both get initiated automatically. So that would not be the main difference. What's the difference between the two? By this time, if I were you, I would have Googled it. Ha. Okay, so synchronous. Oh, there you go. So Ajibuna says synchronous is data is written simultaneously. Yes. Anthony says asynchronous timed. Yeah, exactly. Timed. So it takes time. Timed when written. Okay. So Arthi says read and write replicas are same in synchronous and only read replicas. Okay, so yes, and Ajibola said it correctly for synchronous. Others are also okay. Good. So data is written simultaneously. That's what synchronous does. So that's why you need a lot of bandwidth for this data written simultaneously. So as soon as the users simultaneously. So as soon as the end users are, writing the data on active VM, the that same data being written here is being copied here as well, right? So it's in fact written at the same time exactly here as well. So that's why they need a lot of bandwidth first of all. That's why it can happen only on LANs or faster networks, on local area network, LANs, and it requires more bandwidth. And when it comes to this means asynchronous, so it first makes sure that there's a delay there in copying, to delay in writing or copying to standby. So this means that on LAN and WAN, but mainly on WAN, you would see that. So if you're going for AWS, well, you are. So on AWS, when there are two cross-region replication going on between two regions, so you would see that they have to use asynchronous replication there. for data, unless the data centers in availability zones are very near to each other, right? So that's is same in AWS, same in Azure, same in Google Cloud also. So delay in copying to standby on, it is on WAN, so there's a data loss expected there. But here in synchronous replication, there is no data loss. Oops, no data loss. So when it comes to synchronous, data is written simultaneously on LANs, so faster speeds requires more bandwidth, no data loss. Here it's slower, and there is a data loss there and used on WAN, right? So this is how asynchronous and synchronous, and you will see that in pretty much everywhere, wherever you need redundancy. So you will hear about asynchronous and synchronous replication. So always remember this, and they will definitely ask you in the interview. And whichever scenario in the exam is talking about that, you should understand what they're talking about. So the data is simultaneously written because it's LAN speed and it's faster. So if that's why they're saying that fault tolerance is, there's no data loss. So this means that there is no downtime as well if the VM goes down. So if the VM goes down, so at once the failover occurs and passive becomes active, right? Not only that, that passive becomes active, so uh, you know becomes active or primary, right? Primary VM. So as soon as there's a disaster, passive becomes active or primary VM, right? So not only that, but if it's a bigger environment or bigger than ours at least, so if there are more hypervisors, suppose hypervisor 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So and not only that, the passive becomes active. Now passive may not know when is the crashed active coming back, when is it going to be functional, right? So it simply creates another partner to achieve redundancy right away, because if the active went down and passive became active, now it's waiting for active to come back so it could achieve the redundancy status again, but it does not have that redundancy status. So this means that it has, if it creates a partner somewhere else right away, so it achieves that redundancy. Suppose the disaster happens on any one of those again for some reason, so at least you had achieved the redundancy, and now again it failed over to whichever partner. So the main thing is, as soon as the disaster strikes, not only that it becomes active, it creates its passive partner on another hypervisor if this one is not available, and then starts copying its data. It's just it fits its own copy, right? So that's very good. Whenever the actual one comes back, it's just disconnected over the network, so it should not be disruptive of this process, right? So this is another very very good procedure there that it follows. So uh, now while the procedure for fault tolerance is the same with or without an operating system, and given our very limited hardware capacity, so we can actually try to test the fault tolerance with a lot of steps taken there. So within 16 GB RAM, it's kind of tricky. So those who are following should be also really careful. Now, fault tolerance is a very we can say sensitive feature, and it will start giving you errors for very very small reasons as well, because it's going to offer no data loss or no downtime and exact failover. So that's why configuring it, we need to take a lot of steps there to configure it. If any one of you is not able to do that because of certain errors, so do take a screenshot of that error, so I would know that this is the reason you were not able to upload the lab with the required screenshots. So what we're going to do is we're going to just try to check the prerequisites in our environment now. What needs to be configured in our environment for fault tolerance, and I'll just open that. Yes, that strangest thing called slide. Um, So I'll just quickly open that so we could just check those prerequisites, and we're going to be very careful now to configure those prereqs. Hopefully we are able to, majority of us hopefully are able to do that, because it's a nasty one. It's going to really be talking about that. So this is already talked about already: zero downtime, zero data loss, no loss of TCP connection. So that's what it's doing. Another diagram that I'll show you, because we have more topics to cover, so I'm just giving you all the critical information about that. So this already we talked about that. Not only that will become secondary, will become primary, but it will create its new secondary partner as well. So these slides are already there on the board, and then it also says, I'm just gonna fly by with some critical points. Otherwise, it's a full book of details after details. But what we need to know for the exam, and especially for the production environments, that's what I'm trying to put there. So yes, primary and secondary VMX configuration files also gets created. I'm just gonna go down to the lab part of that, because when we are creating that, so then I'm going to explain some more, which is also in the slide. So we will be covering everything a bit quicker in the slide. So so lab step says that increase the memory of E6i1 and E6i2 from 4 to 8 GB. If not, so obviously we can't do that. If not possible, then at least to 6 GB for both ESXi01 and O2, right? So this means that no, I did try that, because in another college we are doing this course, and there also strangely we are on exactly on fault tolerance. So there we did the fault tolerance with a few were on actually 16 GB RAM, a few were on 32 GB RAM. So we tried to do it with 4 GB RAM, and it was not possible. So we had to take certain steps. So now, if you have a, it's not if, I think you all have 16 GB total RAM in your laptops, right? So our first machine is already having 2 GB RAM here, and the second machine has I think 6 GB, right? So second, we'll check that. So I'm just gonna check that and go there and right click on server 2. What is the RAM there? It's in my case it is 8 GB, and the rest of the two are 6i1, 6i2, both have 4 GB RAM, right? So fault tolerance is a feature that requires, that will run basically on 6 GB. So that's so I think we have 6 GB RAM here. I have 8 GB, but overall I think we all have on server 2 6 GB RAM. And if we go to 6i1, so now we need to make it 6 GB here from 4 GB just to get this working. And try your best, and if there is any error, let me know, or just take a screenshot of that. So now, if we can achieve that now, so 6 GB RAM is required to have a failing over of the fault tolerance process executed or done. So I'm going to now shut down my 6i1 and shut down my 6i2 and change it from 4 GB to 6 GB and power them on again. So do not shut down server 2 and just 6 So now obviously it's gonna be overcommitting. So 6 plus 2 8, and then 8 as well. It was already on 16, so 4 was already on 16. When we go for 6 GB, so it's gonna be obviously 4 more. So that's where it was already on 16. Then it will be, I think, 20 GB. But if you can just close down some of the applications there, it is possible. Reduce server 1 to 1 GB. It's only DNS. Yes, Jay, that is also a good idea. Do not shut down server 2, but server 1 you can shut down and power on. Server 1 we definitely need for the whole environment. But if you want to reduce the RAM of server 1 to from 2 GB to 1 GB, that is also okay. And then E6i1, E6i2 RAM to 66 GB, right? So if it's working, so previous course VMware guys, many of them it was working, for some it did not, so they just took the screenshot of the errors. The main thing is, do you understand for the job perspective, and you can answer questions, and you understand all the steps we're about to take now, because you ultimately we need to get a job for this, right? So this question will come. FT is one of the most critical features. If you're not able to do that, don't worry about that. Just take the screenshot of the errors, whatever you get, and also, but try to understand, because you will be saying the whole thing in interview as well, right? So that's another good suggestion here is for server 1. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go for server 1 as well. It's, if I go to right click and settings, then it is showing me 2 GB here. So what I can do is quickly shut down guest. Do not power off, just shut down it properly, then waits for the services to shut down and then shuts down. But we desperately need server 1, guys, so don't think that we will keep it shut down. Don't keep it shut down. Server 1 is mucho importante, very important. So I've just shut down server 1 and changing the RAM from 2 GB to 1 GB, right? So, or 1 GB in, I think in French, I guess. So 1 GB RAM and power on. So that's server 1. So while it is powering on, I'm just gonna shut down power and then shut down guest E6i1, power and then shut down guest E6i2. Okay, my 2 hypervisors are shut down. My server 1 is up. Okay, it's still coming up. And it is up. I'll just log in from server 1. Guys, server 1 is mucho importante. Although, the remote possibility there is that normally it's not a VMware thing, but your Vcenter is on a Windows machine, and that Windows machine needs authentication from server 1, so that's why server 1 is important. But overcommitting sometimes does work as well, guys. So you can at least give it a try and be aggressive on that. Hopefully the laptop or desktop just simply follows that aggressiveness and allows you to be aggressive. So I'm going to change the memory of E6i1 from 4 GB to 6 GB. 6.66. Okay, I think it was 6208 is also good enough. It will be 6.1. 6208, and I'll just type here. Okay, 6114. Oh, 144. J6, thank you. So 6144, guys. Just type here on E6i1 and click here, and it's exact 6 now. 6144. So I'm just gonna press OK here and power on my E6i1. Then I'm going to go for E6i2, click that memory here, and 6144, and press OK, and power on. Okay, so guys, market is so tough. Serious, you need a lot of skills on your resume. Make sure you got Office 365, AWS Solutions Architect Associate, Azure Administrator, Azure Architect, and VMware. So these are 5 very critical certifications. Get it ASAP. So E601, E602, Server 02, Server 01. Okay, my E601 is up now. Try to close the Chrome in the background on your laptop or desktop if you got that. So try to close that Chrome. Chrome is really RAM eater, so it takes a lot of RAM. So, or anything in the background, just close that. Any other application, unnecessary one. Antivirus is running, close it, right? Okay, so server 1 is up and logged in. E6i1 is up with 6 GB RAM. E6i2 is up with 6 GB RAM as well. So that is done. All right. So if I check server 1 with 1 GB, yes, brother, server 1 GB, just to have some more RAM available, and seems to be working fine. So that's a very good suggestion from Jay. Yeah, if you could, wherever you can provide more RAM from your machine, or whatever you can reduce. But yeah, do not touch server 2, guys. Do not touch server 2. It's a beast. If you have to restart that or shut down and start, whoa, then we're stuck. So now if I just show you the diagram of this, so our 2 GB RAM here is now 1 GB. Server 2 is what size? Paul is asking. Server 2 is just 6 GB or 8 GB, whichever it was. We don't touch that. Do not restart it or do not shut it down. Whatever RAM it has, it's okay. Because if we touch that, that's gonna be at once a waste of half an hour just to get it back up with the Vcenter. So we're just gonna change the RAM of the others. Whether server 2 is 6 GB or 8 GB, it's okay. Leave it as is. And we're changing the RAM of server 1 GB, E6i1 6 GB, E6i2 6 GB, right? So fault tolerance will obviously happen on the hypervisors or E6i hosts there. So that's why the changing of RAM 6 GB for both is crucial to implement fault tolerance. Okay, so this is the RAM compatibility. I'm just gonna copy this diagram over on OneNote as well, so you could see the details there. So it's FT we're talking about on OneNote. I'm just updating that now. So I'm getting error in server 2. I'm restarting. Will catch up. Okay, sure. Yeah, just make sure you had a screenshot. Okay, so you have. Good. All right, guys. So if I just go back to this whole, so I'm just gonna take a screenshot of these lab steps as well, and you can see as well. But whatever I'm doing, just try to do that, and try to implement it with the best of your effort. And there's a screenshot here. Punch. So Shahab is showing a screenshot, and yeah, not enough disk space. So this is Shahab. Go to your C drive, remove all the movies, songs, and games from there, and then you will have enough space there, right? Oh, I'm just kidding. Okay, so just try to make some space there in your disk drive, and if you have some extra machines from other courses, just delete them. Your machine should already have, VMware. Okay, kidding again. But yeah, you need to just create some space. All right. So I have placed that requirements here as well. So uh, increase the memory of E6A1. Okay, that's done. That E6A1, E6A2 have now 66 GB each, and well, we also reduced 1 GB memory of our server 1. That's all. And we're not touching the server 2. Now, the second thing it's saying is have 2 data stores available, one for primary and one for secondary. So we have actually 3 data stores, LON-based data stores available. So we're good, right? As long as data stores is concerned, we're good. Turn on EVC mode in clusters. Enhance Vmotion compatibility. So this EVC, now we checked it last time as well, and some of you were not able to find any processor that is that's it. So that is compatible, right? So now we need to go inside vCenter. We need to go to the cluster and configure option, and then the EVC, and then check which processor it detects for our laptop, right? So let's go for the EVC mode there now and check it out, right? So if we, so I'm just on server 2 now, and since I came back from the that frozen state, so it's going to kick me out from here, and I'm going to kick myself into this vCenter again, and administrator at vsphere.local on server 2, and small abc wc shift 123 and without shift 123. So I'm logging in again. So one day, Monday or Sunday, it's gonna log in. Oh, it's logging in. Yay! So once it is logged in, so I'm gonna go to the Tor cluster here. So there's that Tor cluster on the left side. I'm gonna click that, and then I'll click configure, and then I'm going to go down until I reach this VMware E, V, and C, right? There's no and between that. EVC, Enhanced Vmotion Compatibility. EVC does what? EVC hides incompatibilities of processors of 2 different hypervisors. It hides the incompatibility, so the Vmotion could happen. If the processors of the 2 hypervisors are incompatible or have some different features, then Vmotion is not possible. So that's why EVC is there to tell Vmotion, hey Vmotion, both processors are okay, you can just do Vmotion. So EVC fools the Vmotion into thinking that the processors are actually exactly the same, while they may be slightly different, right? So if you go to the EVC, we can click that edit button here, this one. So Tor cluster, configure, and then EVC, and then edit button. Once you click the edit button, so my processor is actually Intel, so I'm just gonna, there's AMD hosts, so enable EVC for AMD host, or enable EVC for Intel host. If I click the Intel here, I know that my processor is Sandy Bridge, so but Intel has many generations there: Mirom, Penryn, Nehalem, Westmere, Sandy Bridge, Ivy Bridge, and Haswell and Broadwell. So I'm going to click that Sandy Bridge here, and with, I know that is validation, so you should be seeing this validation succeeded here, right? And if the validation succeeded for any one processor generation here, for Intel or AMD, so that is something that you have to enable for the FT to happen. So Paul says not validating. So Paul, did you try all types of Intel or AMD, whichever you have, processors? Did you try one by one, everyone? So Click nehalem suppose, and then check for compatibility. It will show you red. Nope. Then Vmware, it will show you red. Yeah, red. Nope. Until whichever you have. So Sandy Bridge, validation succeeded. Yup. Okay. So none of those work. Okay. So guys, Ivy Bridge validated for me. Okay, Jibola says Ivy Bridge is good. So try to click each one of those and check at the bottom if the compatibility is okay or it is not okay, right? Jagwan says not compatible. So guys, if you have tested all the processors and it is not compatible, then you need to take a screenshot of, so take a screenshot of this screen where either you got green or you got red. I need a screenshot for in both cases, right? So if it's not compatible with any processor, then take a screenshot of anyone. If it says not compatible, if it gives you errors, it's okay. I still need a screenshot of the errors. If it says green, if it shows green, it's okay, take a screenshot. If it shows you red, take a screenshot, right? So I'm just gonna put that screenshot here, and I'll just explain that how to put that screenshot. So I'm just gonna place it in the group WhatsApp, and there I'll write it down that screenshot 1, if green, then take a screenshot. If red, still take a screenshot, but check all. So that's just in brackets, but what's the screenshot name? Just say EVC validated or EVC not validated. So screenshot name, if it is green, just say EVC validated. That's the name of the screenshot, validated. If it's red, just go for EVC not validated. But take a screenshot, guys. Take a screenshot. Okay, and then it says not compatible. Kavita says not compatible. So take a screenshot if compatible. Take a screenshot if not. And the name is EVC compatible if green, or name it EVC incompatible if it is red. EVC incompatible if it is red. So I need to see that screenshot for everyone. But try to make sure that you have those, all processors checked, and make sure that you know that is it Intel in your laptop or AMD in your laptop. Alright guys, so we got the screenshot number 1 here. Green EVC compatible, red EVC incompatible, right? So let's press O and K. Okay, so EVC is enabled now. For those who were not able to find the compatible processor, it is disabled, and keep it that way. Obviously there's no choice. So we're gonna go back to our prerequisites here. Turn on EVC mode in cluster settings. Okay, those who were able to turn it on, and you must have those screenshots as well. Then there is that Vmotion must be working fine. So, well, Vmotion was working fine in our environment before as well. So we are kind of okay with that. Now, then there is another prereq, which actually it says here not a prereq, prerequisite. And so, but avoid surprise errors. Let's remove all the affinity rules. So guys, last class we created affinity rules here, right? So what we can do is we can just actually get rid of those affinity rules, right? So I'll just show you where to go and what to do. So I'm going to click Tor Cluster where I am already, and then I'm going to click Configure where we already are, And then if we go down to VMware EVC where we were just now, under that is VM host groups and VM host rules, right? So if you see those VM host rules here, load balance VMs, active passive VMs, VM to host affinity. So we create those. We do not need those in production environment. Yes, you will need those, but here we need to understand how FT works, and we don't need any surprises. Most probably, if they are there, it should not make any big difference. But just to make sure that our FT lab doesn't go wrong, we're just going to remove that. So VM host rules, and if you see the first affinity rule here, just click delete on that. Just select that first one like this and click delete button. I'm going to click the delete for and press yes for the first affinity rule. Then I'm going to go for active passive VMs and delete the second affinity rule. Then I'm going to go for third VM to host and then click delete affinity rules, right? So make sure that the VM host rules is empty, right? So VM/host rules is empty. Okay, so we have done that. Again, there's another line here, not a prereq, but for training environment, disable admission control in HA. So we need to create as much memory available as we can for FT, because FT is a sensitive feature, fault tolerance, and it's going to first give you that error, hey, I don't have RAM. So that's what it's going to scream first at us, please provide RAM to me, right? So we're just trying to do all those things where we're sure that no RAM will be consumed by any other service, or whatever available RAM we can we are sure to make available, we will do that. So now if you have removed the rules, so if we have removed the rules here, affinity rules, let's go for the second one, and admission control. Where is admission control? It is in high availability or HA feature. So let's go there and just disable the admission control. So if you go to Tor cluster and then configure, so we're already there, but now we're going to go up there, up until we reach this Vsphere availability. So that's the HA here. That we need to go inside first. So FT cannot work if high availability or HA is disabled. So HA has to be on for fault tolerance to work, right? Okay, so Jagman says, should I go ahead if EVC was not compatible? Yes, guys, those for whom the EVC was not compatible, still try to go ahead until if you reach a dead end, just take a screenshot of that. Otherwise, keep going with what I'm doing. So I'm going to go for Tor cluster, vSphere availability, and click that, and then I'm going to edit that. I just need to go to one section called admission control. Okay, so Paul says, missed what you did earlier. Okay, so guys, those who did not have EVC, I think you guys have assumed that, so we don't have to go ahead and we don't have to do this lab. So no, well, I wish you had asked that before, but I never said that, hey, just stop the lab there and sit back and enjoy the show, right? So keep going with me. So now those who assume that we're not supposed to do the lab, so please keep doing it. Now I'm just going to show what we did on EVC quickly. So try to be quick on that now. So Tor cluster, configure, and then go down, and until you go to VM host rules. VM host rules. So hopefully Paul and Jagwant are here. VM host rules, and those who were not doing that, please do that now. So VM host rules are there, and then just click on the rule. Well, we just deleted it, right? So just click on one rule and then click the delete button, then click on the second rule and click the delete button, and so on. Third rule, delete button, right? So that's what we did at ABC. Hopefully you're done with that. And all right, yay! All right, cool guys. So now then we went up. So go ahead and go up after this to this Vsphere Availability, right? So here, Vsphere Availability, once you click that, so click the edit button, right? So Vsphere Availability, click the edit button, and here now everyone's here in the edit button area, and you should see that first of all these two options should be checked. So hopefully they are checked for everyone. Second thing is, you see there failures and responses, proactive HA failures and responses, and then admission control, right? So this is admission control. What basically it does is that it reserves some of the CPU and memory on all hosts in case one of the hosts goes down or crashes, and all the virtual machines are supposed to be moved to the other hosts. Admission control is what it does is, if you disable it, then it will not tell every host that, hey, every host, you cannot use more than 75% of CPU and RAM, because 25% of it CPU and RAM is now reserved for if one of the hosts crashes and we had to accommodate its virtual machines on all the other hosts. So I'm leaving 25% of CPU and RAM on every other host to be not used at all, right? So if it is enabled, it does that. So when it's disabled, so we can use the full CPU and RAM of that. So we actually need to use full CPU and RAM. Now in my case it is disabled, and I think everyone else is showing the same. Suppose it is on by default it is on cluster resource percentage, right? So just change it to disabled. If it is disabled, it's okay. So if it is disabled, you're good already, and press O and K, right? So let's press OK, right? Now if we go back to our prereqs here, so now we need to go for configuration of network adapter. Remember that we configured a VM kernel adapter or VM kernel port to both hypervisors when we were configuring Vmotion. So now we are adding another advanced feature, and for that advanced feature, its networking side has to be configured by VM kernel adapter. So on both host E6i1, E6i2, we're about to create VM kernel adapter with its own specific, with its own IP address, either from DHCP or from static range. That in production environment, suppose there were 200 hypervisors, and you want to configure FT fault tolerance on all 200 hypervisors, so you have to have 200 IP addresses separately available for that, right? So we're going to create VM kernel port on both E6i1 and E6i2 now, so we could enable fault tolerance. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright guys, so let's click E6i1. Let's click E6i1 here. Once we click ESXi01, then we're going to go for configure. And once we click configure, so you can, maybe it's already selected on VM kernel adapters. If not, then click on VM kernel adapters like this. And on the right side, you can see that there's already Vmotion configured. There's already management network configured. So two VM kernel adapters are configured, and they're offering networking services for two advanced features. One is management network, which helps you remotely connect Vcenter to the hypervisors and manage them. And second is Vmotion for virtual machine migration services, right? So now we're introducing a third advanced service, and that is FT. And for this, we're configuring its networking side. So let's click that globe plus icon here, this one, and let's click that now, and you will see that familiar wizard. So there's VM kernel network adapter, there's physical network adapter, and there's virtual machine port group for a standard switch. So here, VM kernel network adapter, just select that and click next. So keep it selected, the default one. Now we remember that we had total 9 network cards on each hypervisors. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll cancel that. And okay, Paul. So hopefully you're here. VM kernel adapters. configure VM kernel adapters, and then click that add host networking. Keep this one selected, VM kernel network adapter, and click next. So no change on this page. Next. So there we are. Now, guys, here, new standard switch or existing switch. So technically, we can configure that VM kernel adapter on an existing switch as well. The only problem with that is that the existing switch already has a burden of management network traffic. It already has a burden of Vmotion traffic. Suppose on the same switch you have configured Vmotion. Remember that we created a second switch, and there with two separate network cards we created Vmotion traffic. So it will have its own dedicated network cards, and it will have enough bandwidth. So we're gonna go for new standard switch and attach two new network cards to this for the best practice, because we can do that here in production environment. Good luck. If you have more network cards, do it. Otherwise, connect this service to existing network cards. So I'm going to go for new standard switch here and click next. So new standard switch and click next. So there's nothing here, obviously, because we need to add for this new standard switch two network cards, right? So let's click plus sign, this plus sign here. Once we click this plus sign, so we see a lot of network cards here, so we can just choose the next two available. And why two? So for nick teaming and for best practices, you can select one as well. Technically it is okay. We're just going for two because we have more network cards. So I'm just gonna keep the button pressed on shift and select two network cards here. We make 4 and 5. If you have 5 and 6, select that. If you have 7 or 8 available, whichever is available, right? It doesn't have to be exactly 4 and 5 for you. So press OK here after selecting the two. So now they are both active. So you use the combined bandwidth and combined, power of the network cards, super power. Okay, let's click next. Now you need to give a name to this VM kernel adapter that is offering you this advanced feature of FT. So we can just type it FT- your first name. Go ahead and type FT- your first name. So once you put FT- your first name, then what we can select is here fault tolerance logging, this one. So this new standard switch with those two network cards is all dedicated for only fault tolerance traffic. So select that fault tolerance logging, and if you have given FT- your first name, then click next. Ready? And what we can do is we can dedicate separate, it's a critical feature, so we can go for static IP. Some administrators go for DHCP based IP, and then they reserve that IP in the DHCP. So I'm just gonna go take down this, and we'll check that for Vmotion we selected 10 and 11, right? So for this we can go for 12 and 13, right? So E6i1, where we are now, we're gonna select 12, and for E6i2 13. So 192.168.200.12, and press tab. 255.255.255.0, right? So just have to have some IP addresses separated. Okay, so here we can click next, and that's it. So our VM kernel adapter is finished being created on E6i1. So we're gonna just make sure that this is the same setting on E6i2 as well. So I'm just gonna click finish now. All right, so the third service is added on E6i1, which is FT. Let's go for E6i2 as well and do the same thing, and that is, let's click add host networking, VM kernel network adapter, same thing, next, new standard switch, next. Click plus. So just to be, I see here Vmnic 1 as well as 4, 5, and I remember that I clicked 4, 5 there. Technically, you can select 1 and 4 here and 4 or 5 there, and it's gonna not matter. Just for consistency purpose, we're gonna go stick to 4 and 5. So press on shift and select here, just for sake of consistency or same configuration. Let's select the same network cards. Otherwise, technically, you can select any other network cards as well, and it's gonna work. So let's click next, and yes, we go for ft dash your first name on the next screen, and it is fault tolerance logging only selected. So ft dash your first name and fault tolerance logging, if it is selected, click next. We're gonna go for IPv4 settings, and so previous one was 12, now this one will be 11, 10, 11, yeah, 12, 13. So 192.168.200.13 tab 255.255.255.0, right? Next, finish, right? Finito. All right, so once we click finito, yeah, so we're good. So yeah, it's completed on both E6A1, E6A2, and that's good. So okay, so let's just go for our prereqs again, and well, this one is done as well, and well, now we're kind of ready for the FT logging. Now guys, again and again, I'm just saying that it's more sensitive feature than DRSN, HAN, other features. So hopefully nobody gets an error, but fingers crossed, and good luck. But before that, there's a T-shoot that I've written here from previous experiences here. Make sure that VM has 1 GB memory for its working or less. So the least amount of memory that we can give is good. Second thing is, please check which data store it is on. So yes, I need to check which data store it is on. Why? If the active VM is on DS0, suppose data store 0, so secondary VM's virtual disk, I need to put it on any other data store other than data store 0, right? So whichever virtual machine we check, especially I'm going to select the lighter one or the one without an operating system, so there are no nasty errors coming my way and I could explore the fault tolerance. Now I'm going to go there after reading these two, and I'm going to check which hypervisor my virtual machine is on, because its secondary machine will be on the other hypervisor obviously, and which data store the virtual disk of the active machine is, so I could just give another data store. So then there is turn off FT, and suppose you started to create fault tolerance on a virtual machine here, and then you realize, oh, it has 4 GB RAM. So then you have to turn off FT, and then you can go ahead and turn it, then change the memory and then turn it on again. So if that's the case, but we're gonna check that before even turning on the FT. You need to have HAN EVC enabled, otherwise FT will not work. Ouch. So guys, those who did not have EVC enabled, and you got the screenshot for that already, so try to go this way, or whatever we're following, wherever it says, oh, please enable the EVC, then you can go ahead. I need that screenshot from those who did not get the EVC enables, right? So whenever you get the message clearly saying that you have to have FT to go ahead, that's where you take a screenshot and then just have that screenshot available. So right guys, here we're gonna go for the lightest machine whichever we can find, with or without an operating system. FT is configured the same way. There's no difference if you have an operating system, it just works the same way. So I'm gonna go back here to my environment, and here make sure, so I guess everyone's virtual machines are up or powered on, right? We do not want any virtual machine to be powered on because they are still taking more RAM, right? We need to save as much RAM as we can for the FT to successfully work. So for your job environment, obviously, you try your best to make it work, and then we understand that whatever is out of our control, it's okay. So I'm just gonna go and shut down or power off all the virtual machines. In my case, there's a green play button here, right? If you see the green play button, this means your virtual machines are also powered on. So please power them off, all, every one of them. So I'm gonna right click on the first machine, go to power, and simply power off. Then I'm going to go to the second one, third one, fourth one. Now, can we power them off together? Yes, we can do that too if it lets me. Power off selected virtual machine, yes, and I'll press yes. So I can go to another view here. So if I click E6i1 here, and then I click on the right side VMs, E6i1 VMs. So I can see whichever VM is on E6i1 and I can select them. Well, there's only one left. Other one I shut down already. So right click and power off. Then I'm going to click E6i2 hypervisor, and I'm going to, on the right side, I'm going to go for VMs here as well to see all the VMs there. Now I see 3 VMs that I want to power off, right? So I'm going to select one on the top here. Then I'm going to press shift button just to feel more lazy to power off the machines. So all 3 are selected now. Suppose they were 200. So actions and then power off, right? So select all with this view and power off all of them at once. If they were inside the VApp application, you would have been able to do that easily with VApp. VApp, you can just shut down all machines in one go. So all machines in my case are powered off already, and so that's good, right? Hopefully your machines are all powered off. And I'm going to select your first name VM03, or you can select anyone you want. So once you click any virtual machine here to select it, make sure it is powered off first thing, right? Second thing, are you on the summary view here? Your virtual machine VM03, and are you on summary view of whichever machine you selected, right? So if you're on summary view here, I can see, oh, it is on E6i2. Okay, I just am gathering information now, right, for this machine. So it's better to actually put it in a notepad. If you go to run and type notepad here, and so ES6i, so first of all, it's VM03, and it is on ESXi02. And second thing is which data store it is on, right? I need to know that too. So if I click here, I still have the summary view here, right? If I go to the right side, you can see this data store view as well, right? Just to get the information. So which data store it is on right now, VM03? Oh, it is on DS2 in my case, right? So I'll just take out my notepad and I'm gonna type here, in my case, if you can remember, that's okay. I kind of forget that later. So DS2, I'm just gonna check that, put that my VM03 is on E6i2 hypervisor and DS2 data store. So I'm just gathering this information for later use, which is after this we're about to configure it with FT. Okay, so VM03, I got information. So if I go to the prerequisites of that, now we are ready to, let's enable FT logging on both hosts. Okay, that is already enabled, but choose any VM, shut down. So all our VMs are shut down, so that's okay. That is on shared storage. So we're going to make sure, we're going to first enable the fault tolerance on a shutdown VM, and then we're going to power on that VM, right? So we're going to enable fault tolerance on a shutdown VM, then we're going to power it on. And kind of good luck. So whatever error you get, just take a screenshot. That's good enough for me. but try to make it happen as much as you can, and whatever's out of your control, so we understand that. Okay, so VM03, and I'm just gonna right click on top of that VM03, and once you right click on top of that, you see this, right? Fault tolerance. And once you are on fault tolerance, what do you see on the right side? Turn on fault tolerance. Okay, so if you got this turn on fault tolerance, so I'm gonna click on turn on fault tolerance now. Okay, normally at this spot, normally it gives errors as well. But if you're on this screen, then congratulations. It would be said so far so good, right? On this screen, it's just asking, you can see here up, select your stores to place the secondary VM disks and configuration files, right? So this is asking about the partner VM of this virtual machine. That where do you want to place the virtual machine disk of the secondary VM? In my case, I know that my active one is on DS2, so I'm gonna select DS1 or 0, right? So you should select whatever information you have for VM03 or whichever VM you selected, whichever data store its virtual disk is, select other than that, any other data store. So I'm selecting DS1 here, and so far it says compatibility check succeeded. So green is a good news. So we are going for best practice here. So it has to be a different data store. We talked about that in the diagram as well. And click next. So it says which hypervisor, and it's wise enough because it's not showing the hypervisor where active is already there. It has to be another hypervisor, so that's the only one we have. If you had suppose 200 other hypervisors, then it would just show you where all the other hypervisors, and you could choose any one of them. Okay, A6i1 is selected. That's the only other hypervisor we have. Or if you, in case you see A6i2, so that's the only other hypervisor you have. So let's click next. Well, that's it. Placement details for the secondary VM. Host is A6i1 in my case, and data store is DS1. And finish. So Paul says status warning, and warning depends on what the warning is. Most of the time it's harmless and you can go ahead, but depends on what's the what it says. If it says that you should have enough bandwidth, more than 1 GB, so that is harmless. We can ignore that. Okay, so there is a screenshot here. Actually, Badr put that screenshot, and that screenshot shows that could not retrieve information about the available data stores. So normally, Badr, you have to rescan your data stores from E6i1, E6i2. We have done in many other classes. Hopefully you know how to. Do you know how to rescan? And okay, good. And okay, Sandeep says I had warning but reached till finish. Okay, you're good. Arti says done. Okay, so mine is done as well. And most of the time warning is okay, like it's you can still go ahead. Very few warnings are there that we can still go ahead, but after that it doesn't work, right? So very few. Majority of the warning, it just works fine after that. Alright guys, so well, you can see that fault tolerance has been configured, and what's the indication of that? You can see that the icon for this one is dark blue, whichever machine is configured with fault tolerance, and others the icon is light blue, right? So dark blue and light blue are the icons there. Okay, there's another picture, and that is from Paul, so let's check it out. Oh, you're good. Okay, cool. Way to go. So we're good, and okay. And now, guys, if this is done, the next step is, and that's where I say good luck to me and to everyone. We need to, if it is dark blue, first of all, this is configured with, successfully configured with fault tolerance. But because of our limitation of hardware, that's where I say good luck. So we need to power it on. So I'm going to right click on VM03 here, and I'm going to go to the power, and that one machine that is supposed to be powered on, so it normally tries to power on its partner machine as well. So two machines will power on now. One on one hypervisor, second on second hypervisor, right? So I'm going to click power on, and inside I'm going to say please work, please work, please work, please work. And outside, see, it's working. So, well, seems like it is. And 55% in recent tasks. Still on 55%. Ah! Whew. Okay, this calls for a screenshot. Screenshot of what? So first of all, I can see that in recent tasks, it says completed to both, right? So, okay, Kavita says done. Jagwan says failed. Anthony also says well. No. Guys, depends on why it failed. Okay, let me check that screenshot here. There's a pop-up here for Madhuri, and if I put that up here, so it says what? DRS cannot find a host to power on or migrate the virtual machine. The host does not have sufficient memory resources. Why? The host does not have sufficient memory, and the available memory resources in the parent resource pool are insufficient for the operation. Ouch. Hopefully, Madhuri, did you disable the admission control and you enabled or upgrade the memory to 66 GB? I think, yeah, we all did that, right? So DRS cannot find a host to power on. Why is saying that actually? Okay, that's for virtual machine. It does that. I understand. I was telling you all this time that it's the memory will bite. It's VMware. If our hardware is not good that much, although in 16 GB previous course we were able to pull it off. Tenzin also shared a screenshot here, so we'll check it out. And what does it? This one says the fault tolerance conversion of the entity Tenzin VM02 has an issue. Regarding play functionality is not supported by this virtual machine. The fault tolerance conversion on the entity 4 has an issue. Vsphere fault tolerance requires the host to have a virtual NIC enabled for fault tolerance logging. Okay, that's different. So it's kind of, it seems like it's there's a misconfiguration there. On E6i2, I think, did you give the IP there correctly for the VM kernel Docker Tenzin? But fault tolerance error, does it refer to tolerance conversion of the entity has an issue? Record replay functionality is not supported by this virtual machine. That's strange as well. VM02 and then 4. So try to restart Tenzin VM04, not VM04, the host 04 or E6i2, and then check it again with this, just power on machine, right? Otherwise, if you get this error again, just grab that screenshot. Okay, then Jagwan says the host does not have sufficient memory resources to satisfy the resolution. Okay, Jagwan says available memory resources in the parent resource. Okay, oh, that's the same. But two different errors. Okay, so guys, those who got this error, have your screenshots. Just take your screenshots there. Paul also shows. Sandeep says my EVC is not turned on due to processor incompatibility, but FT shows successful. Okay, so EVC was not that much required, so maybe it just checks the processor directly. So Sandeep, thanks for that update. I'm just seeing a lot of screenshots being uploaded here. Is it okay to be just one data store? Yes, Paul, it is okay to be one data store because it's gonna work. It's just that in production environment it is not recommended, but here, yes, you're okay. You're good. Khalid is saying that okay, Khalid, you have to rescan the storage, and I have enough memory, 32 GB. Ajibola says, and what happened there? Oh, Ajibola, you got that too? No way, man. Okay. If I want to do, the host does not have sufficient memory. Whoa. So Ajibola, did you? If you got 32 GB RAM, and you closed, shut down the admission control, and you powered off all the virtual machines, the rest of the virtual machines, then it's well, it can come up for any other reason, but you can increase your RAM to 88 GB. You know, since you have enough. I was doing that 66 GB just because of 16 GB RAM limitation, and then try again. So just increase your RAM, but make sure. And guys, your virtual machine, does it have 1 GB RAM? Sorry, I also did not detect that myself. Let me show you one more thing, guys. Everyone who's got an error. Okay, so Khalid says showing normal but not accessible. Showing normal? No. If it is Khalid, if it says inaccessible, that's not normal. So rescan until inaccessible is gone. Make sure inaccessible is gone. So and turn on your server 1 if it is off. Server 1 is our lifeline. Okay, who was it talking to? Yeah, guys, everyone, guys, see this VM03 and go to summary here. VM03, go to summary. What is your RAM there? Those who got the errors, is your RAM 1024? Those who got the error, 1024 MB. If your, so Jagman says yes. Okay, you got an error, but your RAM is 24 MB for the virtual machine. It has to be 1024. It should not be 4 GB, right? Okay, Anthony says it's 1024. Sandeep says EVC error and success. If it's EVC error, did your Sandeep, did your two virtual machines powered on successfully? If they are powered on, you're still good. Jagan says memory active 0. So guys, what I can suggest is that if it's you can restart both hypervisors. Although we did that already when we were doing 6 GB, but overall your laptop is not able to give you enough RAM there. So you wherever you can try your best, and otherwise have your screenshots uploaded. I understand you won't be able to do that, but for next lab, be ready with me, right? So here you can just try your best to troubleshoot, but we have hardware limitation. What can we do? So I just need your screenshots for the errors. That's all. My configs are Ajibullah says server 1 2 GB, 12 GB, server 2 and 6 GB. Yeah, you're good. Ajibullah, I think you said your laptop is 32 GB, right? So you can try to increase it A651 SI2 to 32 GB. Oh no, 88 GB. Sorry. 12. Okay, yeah, try that and yeah, go for it. Madhuri says mine is 2 GB for. Oh, your virtual machine. No, Madhuri, do you get an error? If you get an error, just remove that. Put it to 1 GB RAM, 1024. And also one more thing, Madhuri, now you cannot change that RAM. You have to. So guys, suppose you want to change the RAM. Suppose, so see this even in production environment, you need to know that. Suppose it's already a fault tolerance machine, right? It's already configured with that, but you want to change the RAM. If I go to right click and go to edit settings, it's not gonna let you change that now, right? Or maybe let's go to edit settings, and can you change the RAM of a machine that is already configured with fault tolerance? Actually, I powered it on as well, so obviously it's not gonna let me change. So if it doesn't let you change, if your machine is shut down and it doesn't let you change, so see this, you have to go to fault tolerance, and there's a turn off fault tolerance option as well, right? So if you click that, it's going to remove the fault tolerance configuration. Then go again, right click and edit settings, change the RAM to 1024, then come back here and turn on fault tolerance again, right? And then give your other data store and next finish. So that's the way to do it. So just try to understand what's going on, so you could say the same thing in the interview as well. Yes, I did that, and there's these problems and those problems there. So main thing is, do you understand? Well, second main thing is, can you do it and implement it as well? Third thing is, I need screenshots. So okay, anyway, so I'm not going to turn off and fault tolerance. And second thing, it's up and running for me, and for those it's not up and running, just have your error screenshot taken, and I would understand. I will understand. So guys, but try to understand for your jobs perspective and for interview perspective that what can we do now when it is configured, right? So what can we do now when it is configured? So you can see that first of all, I'm going to show you the where is primary, where is secondary. How can we say that in this view? So you have to click the ESXi1 first. Go ahead and click that ESXi1 and then have the virtual machine view there, right? So click ESXi1 and on the right side, click VMs tab. Now you're going to see that there is this virtual machine, but it now says primary here, right? So my ESXi1 holds the primary virtual machine VM03. And if I click the ESXi2, and on the right side you have still click that VMs tab, you will see your secondary now. VM0 through, did I say through 3? Okay, 3 secondary, right? So this means that so far so good, and the virtual machine is kind of okay. While fault tolerance is okay till now, we need to prove that fault tolerance works. How do we prove that? We have to create a disaster, and in so whichever if I go to 6i1, I can see that my primary machine where the end users are supposed to connect to this machine is on ESXi1. If the ESXi1 crashes now, will the ESXi2 where it says secondary, will it become primary automatically or not? Right? So what the plan is that I'm gonna crash that hypervisor where my primary machine lives. I'm gonna crash that hypervisor, right? And then I'm gonna go to ESXi2, which is the only one that is up. I'm going to check that its secondary has automatically become primary or not, right? So that's my our check for fault tolerance. So it better change to secondary, should change to primary if it detects that the primary is gone or gone down, right, or crashed. So this is our test first of all, and well, we can call it fault tolerance crash test, right? Okay, so what we can do is that I'm going to go to 6i1 and I'm going to crash it. So for that, what we need to do is I know that my primary is on E6i1, so I'm just going to go to this area. I'm on the DCUI now, right? Direct Console User Interface. Those who for whom it's working, you're hopefully you're all there. So I'm going to right click on E6i1. I'm going to go to power. And proper way to shut down is shut down guest, but I'm going to go for power off, which resembles crash, right? So this is like you're pulling off the cable, power cable. So I'm going to click the power off for ESXi1 because that's where my primary is, and I'm expecting that the secondary should change to primary, right? This means failover happened. So I'm going to click that power off now and power off. Okay, it's down here. And what happened to my primary machine? So I'm just going to go to server 2 here, and first of all, did server 2 detect, did Vcenter detect that ESXi1 is down? So I'm just going to refresh this Vcenter here, right? Or refresh the whole browser. Well, it did not still detect that ESXi1 is down, so I'm just going to click the browser here, this one. Sandeep says status unknown. Okay, so Madhuri says error. Sandeep says was normal before. Okay, good. So, and check that view if your secondary becomes primary now. So, seriously? It did not detect yet. It was supposed to tell me should have a red error here. Seriously? Refresh again. What? Come on, detect. Oh, now it detects. See this? ESXi1 shows me a red exclamation mark. So if I go to ESXi2 now, where it was showing secondary before, now it shows primary, right? Became primary. So Sandeep also says that it was showing disconnected secondary on your screen. Yes, it was showing. Now I just wanted to see E6i1 showing a red error here. That is the short shot thing that it was detected. Otherwise, yes, you're right. Normally, it does show this disconnected, which is also good enough. Yeah. So if you go to E6i2, guys, so it is on primary. So well, you can just take a screenshot number 2 here, and that is FT works. So this screenshot should show that E6i01 has a red sign here, and E6i2 with VM's view here is showing VM03 as primary. So red sign on E6i1 while E6i2 is showing primary. So this means FT works. For those who are able to take that screenshot, go ahead and take that. Those who are unable to, your error screen shots are good enough for me. So I'm just gonna take that screenshot now and put it on WhatsApp. So screenshot 2 FT works, right? So your E6i1 should show red sign there, and then take a screenshot if it shows red sign there, and then E6i2 showing VM03 as primary. So Arti says in second host my VM still shows secondary. Refresh. Arti, just keep on refreshing. It updates after some time. So keep refreshing your browser, and yeah, it should be okay. Hopefully. Sometimes it gives the details faster. Sometimes it's slow. But yes, it should be primary. Okay, guys. So, well, if you were able to take the screenshot, then we need to power on the E6i1, right? So, it does fail over. So that's a congrats, and that's good to see and experience that we were able to actually test with a crash test that it's going to actually fail over once the underlying hardware is not available for active machine or primary machine in VMware. I'm going to power on. I'm going to go to E6i1 now and power on, right? So Ajibola says FT works now with E6i1 on 8GB. All right, way to go, man. High five. So that's very good. And just take that screenshot, and we're good. So guys, power on E6i1. Power on E6i1. So powering on E6i1, and it's good. So FT works fine. That's very good. And you can explain this procedure in the interview, have some notes ready, summarize it before the interview. When you are going for interviews in future, then you can just send me an email, hey teach, hey prof, can you send me some interview questions, and I will send you the interview questions for that. If you need any certification material, let me know. You must get certified ASAP. The market is tough. There's so many cloud jobs there. So you need to be Azure certified, AWS certified, VMware certified, Office 365 certified, and if possible, Google certified. But just certification is not enough. You have to go for in-depth labs. So AZ104 course on other weekdays starting, we go in-depth, just like here. We go everywhere in cloud also. I have in-depth labs there. So you should be excellento, right? Okay, guys. So okay, Amarjeet says here I need VMware question or exam for exam. Yeah, for exams. Yeah. So Amarjeet, just email me and I'll send you the question file there. And anyone else, just let me know. Okay. So here, guys, EXI2 is up, EXI1 is up, and server 2 here. So yes, it has been, EXI is detected back as powered on by Vcenter as well. So that's very good. So it detects that as well. I'm just let's go for the next topic. Yay! Or yay. Okay, so VM03, Ajibola says VM03 is primary on E6i2, so my disaster simulation will be on. Exactly, yeah. So you can crash E6i2. Right click and power off that E6i2, and you'll be good. Okay, so since we are all so excited and I don't know how come the class has gone too quiet, but the thing is that we are able to go ahead now, and you can explore more topics there and benefit from that. So guys, here we see EVC. Now we are gonna go for VUM. Okay, what's VUM? VMware Update Manager. Update Manager. Okay. So here it is VMware Update Manager. So if anyone has used already in Microsoft the update patching, right? Patching server there, and that is called WSUS, Windows Server Update Services. So this is the same thing here in VMware. WSUS or WSUS there in Microsoft is VUM here in VMware. So whenever VMware releases new updates, so you have to uh, deploy those updates in your environment through VUM, right? So it's gonna get tricky now. Well, yeah, we're just seeing tricky labs, right? So the more complicated stuff you know, the better your value in the market, because easy stuff everyone knows, right? So the more complicated you learn, the better you are in the market. So here, now this is not complicated, but it's just tricky, and I salute your dedication that so many of you are trying your best to get the labs up and running within this extreme. Well, I can, in terms of VMware, this is an extreme limitation. 16 GB is like I would cry on with loudest voice here, but what can we do? There's nothing we can do. It's it costs to upgrade the whole laptop. So, but this course is also very important. So, guys, what we can do is VMware Update Manager here is let's just understand that. So it updates the ESXi hosts. So if you have latest updates, right, from VMware, so those updates will be downloaded by the VMware Update Manager, and then you can deploy it from the update manager to the two hypervisors, to the virtual machines, to the ESXi appliances, right? So it updates the ESXi hosts, virtual machines, and virtual appliances. Virtual appliances are virtual machines with already custom-based software installed inside. And you need to just purchase a license of that software. Suppose it's appliance with replication configured already, replication software configured already, but you have to just customize it according to your company needs. So that's an appliance, right? So it updates the ESXi hosts, virtual machines, and virtual appliances. Well, obviously, when we get to install VUM, we're gonna be able to explore a lot of other features, but it is just used for now. Second thing is, it can be deployed. It can be deployed on any other VM on the network, but it should be able to reach the Vcenter. So in Windows based Vcenter, it is separately deployed, while in VCSA, so Vcenter, appliance based Vcenter or Linux based Vcenter, it is part of the appliance based Vcenter, which is also called Linux based Vcenter, right? There it is already part of it. So you don't have to separately deploy that. Now, in our case, this becomes even more important that if we can't afford to introduce a fifth machine now, already we are crying with 4 virtual machines here, right? So that's why we have to, install the VUM on our vCenter. So we will install VUM on our vCenter. That's the first thing, machine. And it's a very small software, so it's not gonna be a burden on your machines. Second thing is VUM cannot be installed on domain controllers. So there goes our one other machine where we could have installed VUM, but you cannot install VUM on a domain controller. So the other machine is our domain controller. So other than that, so we need to just deploy this configuration now. So let's go to the prerequisites of that, but we understand what is the purpose of that. The purpose is to deploy updates. It grabs updates from VMware website and then deploys it across the environment. So it is tricky, and obviously this is one of the most critical topics. You have to update your virtual machines from time to time. Obviously, you can't avoid that in a production environment. So that's why you must know how to do that. So we're gonna update our ESXi hosts with new updates. We have 2 hosts there, right? So one by one we're gonna do that. We're gonna also learn how to put them down on maintenance mode, and how does the maintenance mode really looks like. So we're gonna learn all that. So some new stuff is also coming our way. So I'm just gonna go for the prereqs of the VUM as well. So Asynchronous says, which is the most deployed vCenter environment in Canada, Windows or Linux-based vCenter? So depends on, suppose you have VMware for 10 years, 13 years, so you would see mix, either Windows or Linux, or even sometimes it is in one branch there is Linux and in another branch there are Windows, and whichever normally it goes for the small companies where they don't have Microsoft licensing available. They don't have any other machine with Microsoft as well. They go for Linux-based vCenter. While big companies, medium to large size companies, they have already Microsoft licensing. So then there's a mix of that. Some big companies go for Linux-based purely. Otherwise, other goes for Windows-based because they already have it. In future of the vCenter, it's gonna be VMware is pushing us towards Linux-based vCenter there, right? So in the last class, I can show you that how to deploy the Linux-based vCenter, which is just the deployment. You need to see inside is the exact same as we are doing here, or I can send you the video and you can exactly step by step do that yourself as well. So but yes, it's a mix, and yes, one more thing, majority would go for Linux-based vCenter, but many companies still have Windows-based. It's just that how you deploy that, and how do you maintain that. I'm going to explaining that. I will be explaining that anyway. There's a native high availability for vCenter that's purely for Linux vCenter. So I'll be explaining all that as well. How does it work? Alright guys, so here, let's go ahead and, there's VUM here. VUM cannot be installed on domain controller, so there goes our chance of using that machine. So we're going to use our, I'm going to show you some prereqs here now. So in lab environment, the first thing it says is disable lockdown mode. So we're going to go to both hypervisors and we're going to disable the lockdown mode there, right? And don't install on domain controller, yes, we know that. And VUM on vCenter VM, yes, we're going to install that on and enable internet connection on server 02. Enable internet connection on server 02. Why? Because VUM needs to connect to internet to download and install .NET framework .NET Framework 4.7 and what? .NET Framework 4.7 and also SQL Express Edition updates. So it needs to install, for its own installation, it needs to have internet connection on server 2. So we're going to confirm that. Do we have internet connection or not? Oh, okay. So I had mentioned that here already. Seriously, why did I write? Okay, so here, so first thing, let's go ahead and disable lockdown mode that was enabled when we were adding the two hosts to the vCenter. Now, VUM needs to communicate through vCenter to the hypervisors, so it cannot communicate if lockdown mode is enabled, right? So we're gonna temporarily disable the lockdown mode. It is a security feature, right? So we're gonna temporarily disable them, and after this lab, we need to enable them back, right? So let us go ahead and try to disable the lockdown mode first. That's the first prerequisite of the VUM. So VUM prereqs. So I'm just gonna go to my, that's it, my, oh, what happened? Okay, so I'm just gonna go for E6i1, and I need to go inside the DCUI, which is Direct Console User Interface, and I need to just disable the lockdown mode here. Then I'm going to go to E6i2, and I need to disable the lockdown mode in E6i2 as well, right? So I'm just going to click on top of this screen on E6i1. Then I'm going to, in my case, I'm going to press F2 key, but in my case, it's function key in my laptop and F2. That does the F2 task. Login name is root. We already know that. Down arrow, and I'm gonna go to the password. It is small ABC, capital ABC, shift 1 2 3. Was it just that, or was it a long one? Okay, it was just that. So small ABC, capital ABC, shift 1 2 3 in my case. And here you can see the second one, right? That is configure lock down mode, right? So guys, those who were not able to do the fault tolerance lab, you are supposed to do this one because it's not fault tolerance lab, and it does not have those kind of requirements that you were not able to fulfill. It doesn't depend on EVC, right? So all are supposed to follow that. And configure lockdown mode, I'm there, up and down arrow, right? Up, down, up, down. So I'm just gonna go for configure lockdown mode. You just have to press enter here and uncheck this option. So press enter and you will see this. Oh, hey, in my case it is already disabled, seriously. It is showing there and I'm still going there. Okay, so enable lockdown mode is unchecked. Suppose it is checked for you, suppose, right? So you just have to press spacebar here to check, or spacebar here to uncheck. So if you had to press spacebar to uncheck, then press enter, so it could save it, right? And then press escape once only, so it could. So disable lockdown mode in which hypervisor? So both hypervisors are the E6i1 and E6i2. Both hypervisors you have to disable lockdown mode. So whichever hypervisor VUM has to connect, you have to disable lockdown mode in both of those. No problemo. Yeah, Khaled, what? Sorry again. For what? So like no, if it is disabled, then don't do anything. So yeah, I was here to just show how to disable it if it is enabled for you, right? If it is disabled, don't do anything. It's already disabled, right? We came here to disable it temporarily for just this lab, and it's a security feature. It's not supposed to be disabled, but right now it is disabled. So I can see that when I was here on this option, I can see this disabled here, so I was not supposed to do anything. Anyway, so I'm gonna go to press escape here to go out of it, and that's it. Then Control Alt to release the mouse here, Control Alt to release the mouse here, and then go to the second hypervisor and do the same thing. If it is disabled already, don't do anything. If it is not, then disable it and then press escape, right? So I'm going to go to the second hypervisor, click it, click on top of the DC UI or direct console user interface, and FN F2 root, and then go down to small ABC, capital ABC, shift 1, 2, 3. And if I click the down arrow on the lockdown mode, oh, it is enabled here. Seriously, it was disabled there, but it is enabled here. So I need to disable it here as well. So I'm just going to press enter on top of this and press spacebar to uncheck it, and then press enter, right? Press enter. So that's it. In my case, E6i2 was enabled, so I disabled it. So press enter. After pressing enter, just press escape once, and yes, it doesn't ask us to save, so it's okay. So guys, it is disabled. Disabled. So one prerequisite is done where the lockdown mode is disabled on, temporarily disabled on both hypervisors. It must not be permanently disabled. It's a security feature. So it's just temporarily disabled. So we're going to go back to server 2 now. All right. We're all wrong. So here, it's E6i2. It's E6i2, right? So server 2 here is what's with server 2? Actually, I'm supposed to go to there's a prerequisite. So first is done, disable lockdown mode, right? Second is don't install on domain controller. We're not doing that anyway. Third is VUM on Vcenter VM. Yes. So now we're gonna go to Vcenter VM. We're gonna make sure that first of all, internet is enabled on the Vcenter VM server 02, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Enable internet on server 2, and then go to the browser and check if you can see Trump. If you can, this means you have internet connection. So let us go to server 2 and make sure that we got internet connection. Well, I'm on server 2 and I see that there's a yellow triangle on that network icon here. So this means that there is no internet here. So I'll just go to server manager. I need to go to the network card settings and check that do I have 2 network cards or 1. So I'm going to click that. I'm on server manager. I'll go to local server. Then I'm going to go to Ethernet 0. And I'll click on top of that Ethernet 0. And yeah, I'll just make this. So I have 2 Ethernet adapters, but the other one is disabled. So I'm just gonna right click and enable it. Suppose you have 1 Ethernet adapter, then you have to go right click server 2 here. Suppose you have 1, then you only do that. Right click on server 2 and then click add here, and at the bottom select the network adapter like this and then click finish, and it will already be on NAT, so you will get internet anyway, right? But mine was already there and I just had to enable it. So I see that there is no yellow triangle on that. This means I should have internet. So I'm just gonna go to the Internet Explorer and see Trump. Serious. Okay, so my internet actually is 3 slow. It's not even 2 slow. Are you kidding me? Seriously? Ah, there you go. So I just need to make sure my internet is working. So I have to see Trump. If I cannot see it, this means I'll just okay. I'm just gonna close that. But yeah, it was not a very good speed there. The way it opened up. Alright, guys. So now internet is there, so we can start the installation of VUM, and there will be 2 painful procedures here. One painful procedure for deploying VUM is that it's going to deploy .NET Framework 4.7. Second thing is that it's going to deploy SQL Server Express Edition, right? And both with internet, so it's going to take forever. So hopefully not. So here, what we can do is, where is VUM first of all, right? So let's go to our server 2 actually. Let's go to server 2 on top, right, like this, and right click on server 2. We need to go to the virtual CD DVD here, right? Virtual CD DVD here, and check what ISO is attached to the CD DVD of server 2. So if I go to CD DVD here, and I see some ISO attached here, but if it shows you VIM here, right? If I click that and it shows you VIM, or if I click browse and it shows you VIM, so it is Windows based vCenter. If it opens today, yeah. So yes, this one, VMware-VIM. So this is the one that we need. So I'm gonna double click that. It's the VIM for internet. Can you please repeat the last part? Kavita says, sure. Okay, so for internet, right click on server 2 and go to settings. This means that you don't have second network card. So then we are doing that. Right click on server 2, go to settings, and then go to click add, and then click network adapter, and then click finish. That's it. So you got the second network adapter, and press OK. I click cancel because I already have it, but you have to press OK. And then yeah, just open the this in IE and just make sure that you have the internet connection. Wow, nobody wants a break, seriously. Okay, welcome. So here, let's go ahead and try to go to the yellow folder, because we need to know if everyone has that vCenter ISO already there, vCenter for Windows ISO already there. So let's go to the yellow folder here and then go to this PC. Let's go to this PC, and you can see here that there is a CD-ROM showing with the green and yellow shapes here, right? So if you see that CD-DVD with green and a yellow shape, this is your Windows-based vCenter ISO mapped to the CD-DVD of server 2. Double click that. So we need to double click that in this PC. And press yes. Yay. So guys, make sure in last class, somebody started installing vCenter server and was totally out of it, like thinking something else but just clicking behind me. So do not make sure that this vCenter is not selected. This one is selected. Server 1 is selected. Server is selected, right? Under the Vsphere Update Manager, server is selected. So one genius in previous course in Humber, he just went on, I think he was half asleep. He just kept this selected and click install, while we all selected this one and clicked install. But don't click install now, because you need to select this dude here as well. Right? So that's it. Go ahead and make sure that you selected vSphere Update Manager and server, and he just halfway he installed vCenter as well. So that was too genius. So they all made fun of him. So anyway, just pay attention if you're following. So server and click install after selecting these two options here. First, it's going to painfully install network framework, .NET framework 4.7, and then guys, it's gonna ask you to restart after it installs .NET framework, and it might not be the same experience for everyone. It's really nasty, and then after that, it's going to install Sql Server. So let's click install here. And then sit back and enjoy the show. So Jagwan Singh finally says break, and I was thinking that we all forgot about break. So, oh, there's a break in this time. Yay! Okay, guys. So yes, this is a good thing. But to make sure that wherever it stops, that you keep an eye on that. But let's just take a break of how many minutes? 5 minutes, 2 minutes, or 5 minutes? Oh, okay. I have read and accept the license terms. I'm just gonna click that and click install. So will it be 2 minutes or 5 minutes? Let's check it out. 15? Wow, really? We are here on vacation? Okay, I'm just kidding. So I'll just okay. So 8:17. Whoa. Okay. So yeah, 15-minute break, guys. So 8:10, 8:25 we come back. Okay, guys, 8:25 we come back. Okay, so what's going on here? Now we are going to. Oh, so Jagwant asked that should I click a restart now? Yes, Jagwant, go ahead and restart. Go ahead and click the restart, and it seems to be installations complete for 4.7. It's going to ask for a restart. So once you click finito, so that's how it's going to then go ahead. So yes, go ahead and restart now. Without that, we won't be able to go ahead. So then it's going to go for the next option, that is to so it's going to install the SQL Express edition. So we're gonna have to manually launch it again from the same CD DVD. So we're gonna launch it again on CD DVD here, and well, when it comes back, then I'll say here. Pharaoh says did not ask for a restart. Done with server. Do we install download service as well? Okay, that was good. That's very strange. It did not ask for restart. It always asks for restart. So hopefully it works. Well, if it didn't ask, then yeah, go ahead. And download service. So yes, you have to click download service, but just make sure that nothing is misconfigured. Arthi says, should I check SQL Server 2012 database option? Yes, you should. And go ahead. But it says me too. Okay, so if it didn't ask for restart, that's good, guys. And click the download, but do show me the screenshot where there's too many options there. Then I can guide you there what to put and what not to put there. But do not just keep going without making sure that you're choosing the right options. So I'll just okay, I'll log into server 2, and by the time we are done with the VUM, so hopefully our Vcenter background services would have started as well, because later once VUM is fully installed, we need to log into Vcenter. Okay, now it's gonna go for SQL Server. So now I'm just gonna click that yellow folder and go to the DVD again and launch that installation page again. This time I'm gonna select SQL Server and not server, well, SQL Express Edition. So I'm just gonna click that this PC here and that's, yeah. So I'm gonna double click that DVD CD-ROM. And yes. And one day, Monday or Sunday, it's gonna continue. Okay, so Kavita says my laptop hanged, not ready to start. Ouch. Yeah, you could just then keep the power button pressed for 5-10 seconds, and if it just hanged and it's still hanged. Oh, Paul says hanging. Ouch. Okay. Yeah, it's we have. Oh, guys, we needed 6 GB RAM each for both hypervisors only for fault tolerance. We do not need that 6 GB RAM for. So sorry, I forgot to mention that. In fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and shut down this. Oh, okay. So no, guys, E6i01. While your VUM installation is going on, we don't need E6i1, E6i2 at that time during VUM installation, right? So I'm gonna right click and shut down E6i1. Why? I'm gonna change it whenever it's shut down. I'm gonna change it back from 6 GB to 4 GB, right? So because now if it is hanging, so yes, we overcommitted already. So just shut down your E6i1, E6i2 in the background while you're still installing VUM, and change its RAM to 4 GB, 4 GB, right? Oh, okay. So, well, Kavita, yeah, you can just restart. So, guys, everyone, this is must. Pretty much majority of us have 16 GB RAM total. So, just change the RAM of both hypervisors back to 4 GB. So, my A6i1 and 2 are down or shut down. I'm changing its RAM back to 4 GB. I'm putting 4 GB for A6i2, and I'm putting 4 GB for A6i1. Right? Even now, if they are not started, keep them shut down, because as soon as VUM is done and it's showing inside Vcenter, then we can power them on. So just shut down A6i1, A6i2, change their RAM to 4 GB, and keep them shut down until we need them, right? So let's give more memory to VUM as well. So Paul says, what if we have 32 GB? Whoa. Then you're good. Well, you want to keep it 6 GB or 8 GB, you're good. If it's 16 GB, then only, right? So then only. So, okay, guys, let us go ahead and I'll keep my 6i1, 6i2 down even after changing the RAM from 6 GB to 4 GB, and I'll go back to server 2. Now I have enough memory, a lot of memory available. So I'm gonna again, so I've already double clicked that Vcenter for Windows installation, and I'm clicking on Vsphere Update Manager and clicking the server again, right? So Paul says come again. So Paul, if you have restarted from .NET Framework 4.7 installation, then come back here and double click this DVD CD, and then open the installation of the Vcenter for Windows, and then click that server. This time we're going to install the Sql Server, Sql Express Edition. So just double click that installation screen again. That's what we're doing. After logging in, go to CD DVD and double click that. installation screen, the green and yellow option. I hope I pressed yes. Since, okay, so yeah, there the RAM is showing. Okay, I'm just gonna click that server now, and okay, Madhuri says my machine is slow, and yeah, when you reach here, Madhuri, then let me know. But make sure that the 66 GB RAM is down to 44 GB on E6i1, E6i2. I'm just clicking this use Microsoft SQL Server 2012 Express. I am not clicking 4.7 because I know it is already installed. Even if you click that, it will, suppose it is installed and you clicked it, right? So it will just go ahead with, it will double check that 4.7 is there or not. If it is there, it's gonna switch to SQL Server Express installation. So if I select both, so I will let it double check this 4.7, then it will go straight to SQL Server, right? So I'll click install. Yes, Anthony, both checkboxes. Well, after restart, let it just double check. But you can see that I did check both boxes, but it switched to SQL Server directly. Why? Because it's checked that 4.7 is already there. So it's just a kind of a cross check of is 4.7 really installed. If it is, it's going to switch to SQL Server Express Edition. All right. So after SQL Server Express is installed, normally it will ask for VUM installation, and there it's gonna ask for downloading updates, and it's gonna ask the credentials of the Vcenter. It's gonna ask for the IP of the Vcenter as well. So we're gonna configure all that.
So what do we do after we, I mean, how to install this MySQL server, because I kind of lost the track. My PC was really slow.
Okay, so if you're back here, so you can click this PC here, and just double click this installation screen again. So when this installation screen opens, then you will see this, and when you see that, so click the server here. Oh, well, guys, those who are doing that and you see this, stop running this script. If this error pops up, and you will all see that, so I'm just gonna press yes, then it's gonna go ahead. Okay, so when you're there, then click server, and then just select both options there and click install. So that's what it's doing for me.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, you can see that it's continuously installing SQL Server Express Edition. Username is administrator at Vsphere. Yes, Himan, username is administrator at vsphere.local. So the password and username are for Vcenter administrator. So that's the way we logged into Vcenter. That's the same credentials we need to give to VUM. And the IP would be 192.168.200.2. Oh, yeah, 2. The IP of the Vcenter server. In that same screen, you're seeing the IP as well. So don't let that wrong IP be there. Have that change to 200.2. So guys, if you're reached that screen already, then you can ask and don't assume anything, and you can even say, put the screenshot there, what to select here, or just ask that what to put in username, password, and IP address. Yes, Sandeep is asking, should we take download updates? Yes, take the download update. Check it. Where it asks for, do you have a proxy server? You have to keep it unchecked. We do not have a proxy server. We are getting IPs from our DSL router directly. We're not getting internet from a proxy server. Press yes to this script option. Paul is asking. So if this option, I'm just showing it on the screen as well. If this option comes, just press yes to it. If this option comes, guys, press yes to it. Okay, Paul is showing another screen here after, yeah, Paul, so wait for, if the SQL installation is done, then wait for automatically, it's going to show you the next screen. If the SQL Express was still going on and it vanished, so it's gonna come up automatically now. Wait for it. Well, Paul, if you have gone through this screen already, and just that screen. Well, if you put the username, password, and you put the IP there for the VUM, if you've gone through that clearly, yes, then if it's not showing anything else, then you're done. Oh, you didn't see that screen? Then wait. So it's still popping up. Do not do anything else. It's just slow. Okay, there's a screen that Sandeep is sharing, and we check. Yeah, so guys, some of you might be on this screen or will be coming to this screen, so nothing to click here. So the ports remain the same, and you do not have proxy, so you don't have to click this. You keep it unchecked. So nothing on this screen, and click next. Nothing to change on this screen, and click next. If this screen comes for anyone else, so well, nothing is popping up, Paul. You can also minimize the current screen in front of you. It takes some time on everyone's machine. Not sure why it's not popping up on your screen. So Buzzer is also showing a screen here, and that's the other screen. So yes, this is how. Oh, you put 80.2 here. So if that's your IP, then you're okay. But other than that, Himan is saying it is not taking administrator and vsphere.local user ID and password. Well, Iman, that's your username password. It has to be administrator at vsphere.local, which I'm sure you put, and the password. And the other screen is keep it port 80, but well, my IP is 192.168.200.2. But if your IP is 80.2, then maybe you put that IP further. So yeah, keep it that way. If all four machines have 80.1, 80.2, 3, 4. Otherwise, in my case, it is 200.1, 2, 3, 4. So this is correct. And just try to put. Oh, okay. So yeah, this is the next one of the screens where it should look like this. Hopefully everyone saw that. And okay, so yeah, you changed it, but that's good. And Himan, yeah, so the password, username and password, whatever password you gave, I'm sure you're typing that exactly, but it happens that this is something. Got here and stopped after installing the Sql Server. So Anthony says that, so that's the same thing Paul is saying as well, that at this screen, well, normally, guys, it just carries on after some time from here. Okay, so you start it all over. So you click the install button, Paul. This means, oh, so username and password for. Oh, there's a lot of comments here now. Ifyani says MySQL has finished, but nothing popped up. Oh, okay. Ifyani also says that. Paul and Anthony also saying that, right? So, but Paul has tried it all over, which means that he clicked install. So if for 5 minutes you don't see anything, or okay, 3 minutes if you don't see anything popping up automatically, then click install. So, and Arthi says my IP is 192.168.216.180. Yeah. So Arthi changed it to 200.2 on server. So this IP is getting it's getting from yeah. So Paul says I checked the first box only. Yeah, it's okay because 4.7 .NET Framework is already installed, so it's okay to check the first box only. Arthi, so you have to put that 200.2 and okay. So this IP it got from internet, so we don't need that IP. We need the 200.2 correct IP. So change it to that. Okay, cool. And so for some it is in fast installation. For others it's giving a lot of errors as well. Okay, Paul is showing this screen. Maybe you're ahead of it, Paul, or so Paul, see this. If you have this screen, so change the IP to 192.168.200.2, and the username password is the username password of your vcenter, which is administrator at vsphere.local, and whatever password you have. So change the IP to 200.2 and username password is the Vcenter username password. Okay, so Kavita says my system rebooted server 2 starting again. Ouch. Kavita, did you shut down server A6i1, 6i2 and change their RAM to 4 GB back and keep them shut down? So yes, Paul, administrator at vsphere.local would be the username. Oh, okay, so Kavita did it before. That's good. And yeah, it's kind of good luck now. We're using our laptop or desktops full capacity. In fact, we are asking much more from our laptop, so it deserves a nice pat in the back when this course is over. Your laptop has endured a lot. Our laptops have endured too much. Okay, so Affinity says, can't find Vsphere Update Manager anywhere on my system. Do I uncheck SQL and .NET and click install? Whoa. Affinity, what are you doing? Did you install SQL Server? Did you go through this username, password, IP address stage?
No.
Okay.
No, I just installed the SQL and the .NET, and that was that. My screen is blank.
Okay, so
All I can see on my screen is the VMware Vsphere and the install button with the .NET and the SQL.
yeah, so just click that install button again if it didn't appear automatically, the VUM updates or SQL updates.
Okay.
And Arti says, what port number should we specify in next screen? So Arti, which screen are you talking about? But if there are 3 screens with the port numbers there, don't change anything there. And here it's just port 80. So the screenshots were shown there on WhatsApp, and I've been updating everyone. So yes, if it's 3 screenshots there, then 3 ports there, then keep them that way. So okay, if I see my screen, okay, Amarjeet, oh, both network adapters are disconnected. Ouch. So Amarjeet, you can see this. Right click and go to settings. On server 2, go to settings, right click, and so once you're here, you can go for network adapter and make sure that this option is checked for both network adapters. This option is checked. These 2 options are checked for adapter number 1 and adapter number 2. These 2 options are checked. So right click server 2, go to settings, and try to do that. Okay. So guys, after SQL Server is installed, it's not showing anything for me as well. Oh, okay. But if we haven't gone through those options that we were expecting before, so obviously we need to get those options there. I'm just gonna click anywhere else, although I was expecting it to pop up with VUM update automatically, but I'm just looking elsewhere here, and the VUM installation after SQL Server, VUM starts basically. Oh, so Paul, SOAP port, web port, you don't need to change anything. You don't need to change anything on that page. Just click next. Okay, so there's an error for Amarjeet. I could not connect Ethernet 1 to virtual network Ethernet 8. More information can be found here. Failed to connect virtual device Ethernet 1. Well, sometimes there's a weird thing that suppose you run out of disk space, then it does not let you do that. Otherwise, just restart and in fact shut down this machine and then try this connecting again. Right. If any, do not put anything in DSN. Keep it as is. Do not change anything. Sandeep, destination folder to be changed. It's up to you, but we don't have to change that. Okay, so my screen is also just doing nothing, and I need to just click that install button. After clicking this server under the update manager, I'm going to click that install again, and now you can see the VUM update manager has started. So even third time we had to click install, and this time it's not installing SQL. It's not installing .NET Framework, it's just installing VUM. This is what we wanted, but I had to click that install manually third time as well for that. So I'm just gonna press OK for VUM update now. If any says I can't go forward, if any, can you just share the screen? Which screen are you talking about?
Yeah, let me go with you as actually where you are now. So
That's what.
let me follow your steps.
Yeah, just click the install and okay, maybe you're.
Okay.
Let's see that. Okay, I'll just click next on the VUM installation. That's the third time the screen popped up now, and third time is VUM. First time was 4.7 .NET Framework. Second time was SQL Server. Now third time is Update Manager. So all times I had to click install. So I accept the terms and license agreement. Yeah, next. So there it asks, guys, see this, download updates from default sources immediately after installation. So I'm gonna keep it checked. Yes, I want it to download updates, which is okay, and click next. So I'm on this screen where many of you were already there. So I'm gonna try to fix that. So the IP is wrong. I'm gonna change it to 200.2, which is the IP of the server 2 itself. Second thing is I need to give the username and password of the Vcenter, which is administrator at vsphere.local, and then we go with the password, small abc, capital abc, shift123, without shift123, the class password. So this is the information that you need to have. Administrator vsphere.local. So Paul says after clicking on finito, nothing happened. So click the install again. Click that install button, Paul. So I'll click next after putting this information. So here, SOAP port, web port, SSL port. Oh, Paul, are you done with the SOAP port, web port? So are you done with this all installation? So if you're done with all this installation successfully, then wait for us, because that's the final installation. There is guys, there is supposed to be .NET Framework done, right? And then SQL Server done. After that, if you have gone through the VUM update, this one that I'm going through, if you're already gone through that, you click finish, then wait for us or log into Vcenter. Wait for us or log in to Vcenter. Update Manager will be found inside the Vcenter. Again, Update Manager will be found inside the Vcenter. It will not be like this Google Chrome showing here. It will not be on desktop. It will be inside the Vcenter, right? Okay, so my username and password are not working. Ouch, Chagwant. So, well, username password is something that, you know, you would know, not no one else would know that. I'm sure you're putting the correct password. Better if it's not working, like not working, we could just, you know, restart the server 2. That's bad. I'll wait for 10 minutes when it comes back. Okay, so I'll just I'm not going to do anything on this screen because nothing needs to be changed, and we're not using proxy. So I'm going to click next here, and no need to change the path. If you want to change the path, it's okay. If you don't want to change the path in practice environment, we don't need to. Next, and that's it. Install. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get this screen.
So which screen are you at?
Can I share? Let me share my screen.
You don't have a screenshot? Okay, if you can easily share the screen, sure. Wow, Froze is way ahead. Froze is like flying on spaceship. We are all on tricycles. So Froze, yeah, you need. It's good to wait for us now. You can play ping pong with someone or. Oh wow, what happened? So if any. Okay guys, so this is the final screen for VUM. vSphere Update Manager. After that, we're supposed to just log in Vcenter, where Update Manager should be. Okay, so that's a long breathe. Let me just mute this. Was that the breathing sound? No, right. So if you want to share your screen, you can, or you can share as a screenshot. Hopefully you're there. So let's click Finito here. Once we click Finito on VUM, then we're ready to log into Vcenter to check for Update Manager. Okay, so screen has changed, and Affinity is sharing his screen.
So it is not taking my password. It's the same everywhere, the class password. It's not accepting it.
Yikes, 3 or 4 guys are not able to accept that, and the password. Oh, whose screen is this? Affinity screen, right? So we're not supposed to go for DSN, but how did you
Yeah, this is my
manage
screen.
to go there? So press OK here, and press back.
Immediately I get here, I change the IP address, put in my username and password.
No.
Once I click next,
Okay, go back. Go backer. Like download updates and back and back. Okay. So SQL Express Edition, what did you install there? Because if you selected some other option where it's you know
it's installed. It's here. This is my SQL. It's been installed.
hopefully it's the Express Edition or the correct one. Okay. So well, DSN never comes. DSN means
It's what's here. I did this.
DSN means normally that you have a SQL server somewhere else, and you want to connect to that. If it's on the same machine, it doesn't ask that. Okay, so
Okay, I can start again then.
next. Well, yeah. Let's try to go next. I accept, and then yeah, next. Download updates from this one. Yeah, good. Yeah, you're good. Why is it showing? Okay, is there a way to avoid that? No, right?
No, on the main page, you have not selected use Microsoft 2012 SQL database. That's why it's asking for the DSL.
So you clicked install
On
without
the main
selecting SQL,
page.
if any?
Yeah, I installed .NET first. Then secondly, I installed the SQL. Then unchecked both boxes and clicked install.
Okay, yeah, you're good. Well, this is supposed to not come because it thinks that SQL Server is not on this machine,
No,
it's on some other
when
machine.
you move that VM vSphere update manager box, you can see the background that it's not selected.
Okay, so select and then
Yeah, I've already done that. I've already selected this to install
no,
it.
but when you're going ahead, still keep it
But you
selected.
need to do it again.
So cancel this, yeah, and select it and then install again.
Okay, let me not take the class. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Who was helping? I don't know who was saying that as a help. Thank you.
No, it's me. I was saying thank you to you and Feroz.
Thank you. Feroz was also. I was asking third guy who was third guy. Okay, guys. So, what do we do here? Madhuri is asking, what do we do here? We're not supposed to be here, Madhuri. So, if you see that, so yeah, go back and unselect the proxy option. So, oh yeah, I was thinking that you're gonna about to click back here. Then I realized it's just a picture. Okay. So go back and uncheck the proxy where it's written internet and proxy, and then go ahead. This is not supposed to be popping up. Okay. So guys, now Okay, so yeah, I'll just share my screen here.
Sorry, sir, but I am even after back, I'm just getting the Vmcenter information where I put the IP address, and then after that, it is asking me the SOAP and the web
Yeah,
port.
which is on that page, you don't need to change anything.
Okay, just next, and then it says proxy setting.
Yeah.
So I uncheck it and say next, and then finish.
Yes, exactly. Finish if it's been asking you.
No, it says install.
That's good. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys. So, well, if the VUM is installed, and you can see that it is really, kind of painful installation. And Amarjeet has also shared a screen here with the update corresponding Microsoft.NET framework. Oh, it didn't get installed, so it needs to be installed before you can install this product on Windows 8.1 or 2012 or 2. Blocking issues. Okay. Setup has detected that this computer does not meet the requirements to complete the operation, calling blocking issues. So, well, maybe you could just turn off the firewall and then try again, right? But it could be, well, block is done by a firewall normally. So maybe firewalls are on. So turn off all the firewall profiles. Alright guys, so I'm gonna try to go inside my Vcenter by opening this Google Chrome in Server 2 after 4.7 was done, .NET framework, and then Sql was done, and then VUM was done, right? So then I'll go for that, and Server 2, when I type Server 2, it's just locally cached here. So this is the server2.net.local vsphere-client. I'll go for that vSphere web client. Hopefully it does not ask that flash player thing again. Yes, it asks for that flash player, and internet is on as well. So I'm just gonna go to this area, not secure, right? Till you start the E6i, and oh, okay. Let me just. I'm not able to see the chat. If username password is not working, what to do next? Oh, username password is not working, then Amar Jagwant, then well, I'm sure you're putting the correct password, but I don't want to say that, but restart. Did you hear what I said? Restart. I said restart. Okay, no, restart, sorry. I was just kidding. Restart. I mean, like, although restart is not the solution, but username password is something that users, guys, anyone else had that issue, and how did you resolve it? Because I don't know. I mean, you're supposed to put you should know your username password, right? So okay, vSphere client is also not opening on Chrome. Oh, okay. Wait for the services to start in the background, Jagwan, because it's gonna take 10 to 15 minutes just to start the background services because of the limitation of RAM, right? Checks the spellings of username, Madhuri says. So it's kind of, yeah, we need to just do the troubleshooting on our side that, okay.
So what do we do after this VM manager is installed? What do we do after that? I still have the icon saying VMware vSphere.
Yeah, so after VUM is installed, then go to Vcenter and log in from it.
Should I close this icon?
Yes, that window you can close. This.
And then,
Yeah, we don't
okay.
need this window,
Uh-huh.
so we can close it.
Okay.
If it's open, doesn't matter now.
Okay.
So then open the browser and log into vCenter. Yay! So
Okay, thank you.
okay, here, so not secure. I'm just gonna click that. It's blocking my flash because the internet is still there. So I'm just going to allow that flash here. So hopefully you're seeing that what I'm doing here. If the flash comes, go to not secure, click that not secure here, click the flash, it is blocked, so allow, right? Hopefully we get that. And once you click allow, then click anywhere else and reload. Okay, so here we know administrator@vsphere.local, and the password is small vc wc shift 123 without shift. Oops, I put it wrong. Small vc wc shift 123 without shift 123. So I'm gonna click login. So it's really painful to install this VUM, and VMware, all of it is painful, even when you have very good hardware, even if you have 64 GB RAM. But with correct ways, if the hardware limitation is there, then problems are doubled. If hardware limitation is not there, then it's not that tricky. Still tricky. Okay, it's logging in, or it's thinking of logging in. It's planning to think of logging in. So Ajibola says the two ESXi hosts have red icons and all VMs are disconnected. Yes, Ajibola, so did you power on? So once we log in from Vcenter, guys, we need to power on the the two ESXi hypervisors, and let's power on the two hypervisors. Okay. So Ajibola says it's powered on. So just make sure they are fully powered on, and then keep refreshing. And yes, we have to be patient. So I'm just gonna power on. Make sure that our ESXis are 4 GB now. Both have the RAM of 4 GB. I'm gonna power on ESXi 1. I'm gonna power on ESXi 2. Wow, 4 messages were deleted by Madhuri. So, or you were supposed to put it on other, chat for the class. So I will ask my spy from there what was being said and what is being put there. So that spy will get a lot of samosas later. Oh, no, on WhatsApp. I'm just kidding. So, alright, guys. So here, and ESXi 1 and 2 are just starting. Okay, so it's just ting. Here it's ting ESXi01, and on 2 it is also ting. So that's why server 2 would detect these red ones here. Okay, so I'm just waiting for my ESXi1. Yes, ESXi1 is fully started. ESXi2 is fully started. Now server 2 will take some time, so I'm just gonna keep refreshing server 2 here. Refresh until it is still. Refresh. So just wait and wait. So one day, Monday or Sunday, it's gonna detect that both are up. Okay, I'll refresh the whole browser. Wow. Serious. Okay, so now they are not detected. Yay! Okay, not detected. Seriously. Well, we have to be, patient. Okay, and my server 1 is up, and server 2 is up. ESXi1 is up, 2 is up. So I go to server 2 and refresh it again. Ah, seriously? Come on. I'll refresh the web client again. We don't need internet connection now, so I'll just go to local server and disable my second network card once we are logged into Vcenter. I'll just disable my second network card. This one, Ethernet 1, giving internet, disable that. Second network card. So it needs to access them by name. I'll just open, just to troubleshoot, I'm going to open command prompt admin and press yes. And here, ipconfig flush DNS and register DNS, there are two commands there. Because it's accessing by name, so, well, I just wanted to make sure that it got the correct name. I know it has the correct names. But flush DNS, register DNS, just to get them going. Hopefully that resolves it. And there you go. It's not resolved. Okay. But guys, first thing, while they're still thinking, while Vcenter is still thinking that are ESXi1 and 2 there or not, if you see on the right side, the update manager is showing now, right? It is showing on both hypervisors here, update manager. And if I click the hypervisors and go to configure, oh, so I think I'm connected, but it's just showing some other error. So I'm going to click the summary here. Summary, guys, of this, because it's red minus sign here. So I'm going to click the summary here and check cannot synchronize host ESXi1. And then if I go to ESXi2 and check the summary, what's the error? Why those red signs are there? So it actually does not. Okay, it's still refreshing. So it's still trying to refresh the connections. Wow. You're kidding me. Some elements could not be shown of their information could not be, or their information could not be retrieved. Contact your administrator to fix this issue. Administrator! So I'm going to refresh the whole browser again or sign out, sign in now. Okay, I'll sign out, sign in. If it comes back today. Or I have to connect to somebody else's machine to keep going. We need to go for maintenance mode as well. First we need to create a baseline of updates, and then, oh, seriously, okay, so bad request. Wow, all of a sudden there's a, it's on strike. So Shabadin is saying I resolved this issue by reconnecting the host before. Reconnecting the host before. Okay. Like you disconnect and reconnect. One host shows red sign, another one warning. Oh, Arthi says. Okay. Mine is going for error 500. So it's all out strike on my side. So yeah, anyone has screen that I can say, hey, click this, click that, and we could carry on and finish the lab. So we were Vsphere client. I just go for new information. Okay, there is a screen here from Firoz. Yay! All right, thank you, Rose. Okay, guys. So here, we have to record this, right? So you can even follow it after when the video is there. So, guys, now the time is too small, less. So let me just show the whole screen. Wherever you are, just take the screenshots of that stage. Whoever are able to follow can do that. So now what we need to do is cancel out from. Oh, okay. Class. Desktop. So yeah, alright guys, so Feroz, can you first of all, Feroz is showing update manager by clicking the hypervisor on the left side, E6i1. This is the E6i1, and the update manager is on the extreme right side here. Yeah, this one. So everyone's seeing that now. Please just try to understand now. You don't have to really follow, or you can follow. So first of all, we need to create a baseline to attach baseline here, right? So for that, we need to go to the right side where it says go to admin view. On the right side, yeah, it says here this one, go to admin view. So let's click that. Yeah. So once we click that, it takes us inside the VUM update here, right? So this VUM update is so on the extreme left side you can see settings inside the VUM, and these settings are okay. The first thing is if you can click the download settings, the top one here under the manage and then settings. So once you click the download settings, if you can go to the right side and scroll up, there should be a download button there. Yes, this download now. So let's click that, download now. So guys, just try to watch now because we need to finish the lab and we have half an hour left. So whatever screenshots you have, that would be good enough for today. But try to understand and let's try to finish the lab so you could even follow the recording. So okay, so Anthony says, how did you get here? Anthony, can you click the E6i1? And once you click E6i1 on the left side, then on the right side extreme, just click the update manager as Firoz is showing now. And here, under the update manager, you have to click go to admin view. Right? Hopefully you got it. So then you reach here to the admin view, to the VUM administrator area. Now, all of a sudden my Vcenter just is on strike, so otherwise I would have shown in detail. So here, hopefully you're there. So after that, we went for extreme left and settings. Yeah, this is, and in the settings you can see, okay, download settings. In the settings you can see download settings, and then download now is there as Firoz is showing. So you have to click that download now. And yes, we have to stay connected to the internet. I disconnected from my internet, so that was a wrong move. Why? Because we need to download this VUM update manager, and then my Vcenter went on strike. So if you are on internet, if your internet connection is good, if you disconnected following me, so that was a bad move, sorry about that. Just enable that. So once you click the download now, that is good enough. Then we can go to the left side and hosts baselines. Yes, this one. Beside the settings, this is the second tab here, host baseline. What is a baseline? So let's click that and let's talk about what is a baseline. Baseline is just a collection of updates, right? Suppose the boss says, hey, are there new updates? Just create a new baseline for collection of updates, and we're gonna attach the baseline, which is just a collection of downloaded updates. We're gonna first create a baseline, then we're gonna second step attach the baseline to the hypervisors, and then we're going to implement all the updates on the hypervisor. So we're about to do that. So first thing is we need to create a new baseline. So there's a new baseline with a green plus sign there under the host baseline, then green plus sign. Let's click the new baseline, right? So we're trying to collect information or updates for the host patch. So first of all, we can name the baseline as your first name baseline host. Sorry, your first name host baseline. Your first name host baseline. So we're updating the hosts, right? So if you have selected your first name host baseline, Then under the three options are host patch, host extension patch, and host upgrade patch. So host patch is just that you patch or install new updates on the E6i1, E6i2, because these are the host. Host extension is any software, extra software that you have attached to the host, like replication appliance or any other. And the third one is host upgrade. Suppose you want to upgrade from 6.5 to 6.7, 6.7 to 7.0. So the host upgrade is also done by the VUM as well, can be done by VUM, but we're just trying to concentrate on installing new updates or patches. So let's keep it selected with host patch, and if you've given the name and kept it selected to host patch, click next. So here there are fixed updates and dynamic updates. Fixed updates are that if you deploy an update today, right, and after 6 months there's a newer version of that same update after 6 months, right? So fixed update is that the older update will remain there and the newer update will also install. It will, newer version of that will not overwrite the older version of that same update. Dynamic is that older update you install today, and after 6 months you install a newer version of that, so newer version will override the older update. So dynamic is that. So we'll stick to dynamic and click next. Now here you have to do shopping on the updates. You have to select the updates. So there, you can see on the right side bottom, you can see 432 patches are there. So yes, 432 patches are written there total, 432 updates, right? But we're going to select our very specific updates. So first of all, let's go to the left side and patch vendor. We're going to select only VMware Inc. Although if you had Cisco appliances there as well, you would select Cisco as well. We don't have those Cisco virtual appliances, so we're not selecting that. So first of all, VMware. As soon as you select VMware, the patch number is down to 428 patches now, right? Now we'll go to the left side. Okay, so here severity on the left side, yeah, still left side. Thank you. So here we'll click critical, right? In fact, in severity, stick to any. It's okay. In the severity, stick to any, and then go down to category, and there is security. So there is security and bug fix and enhancement and other. So let's go for security and bug fix, the two, security, and keep your control key pressed and security. And so the patches are down to 398. Guys, one more thing, since we are here, in the severity I said any, right? Let's click critical. In severity, let's click critical, because we don't need moderate updates. So just click critical in severity, while bug fix and security in category is okay. So but in severity, hopefully those who are following have clicked critical. Now on the right side, yes, we're not going for any because it's asking for older versions of VMware. Do you want to update those? No, we don't have older versions. We only have 6.5. So only select 6.5 now. Now you see that the patches have gone down to 28 patches only, right? So all unnecessary patches are removed. We don't need them. Why should we download them and install them, right? So hopefully everyone got, or those who are following got 28 patches there. So if the 28 patches are there, then click next. So this would be, now it's just saying that the patches to exclude. Do you want to exclude even further any patches from the 28 patches? No, we do not want to exclude any patches from within 28 patches. Although yes, we can, because there are patches about vSAN as well, right? But the one of the next labs is vSAN as well, so it's good to update for vSAN already, while even if it's not there. So let's click next without checking anything here on patches to exclude, and then additional patches. So it's just saying that, hey, again, think if you want to have any additional patches, this is the time to think about it and add that. We are sure that we just need those 28 patches. We don't need any additional patches. So do not uncheck here as anything as well and click next. And then ready to complete. So there's that. So we are creating a baseline, and that has 28 patches of VMware 6.5 only, and it's security and bug fixes, right? So only those patches we need to deploy on 2 hypervisors. So click finish. So once we create a baseline, we just need to understand what do we do with the baseline. So we need to attach the baseline. So Anthony says dynamic or static. So Anthony is dynamic. And okay guys, so what do we do with the baseline? So it will be the baseline will be attached to the ESXi. So let's go back to the ESXi01 host. If so there we need to go back to ESXi1 host, and inside the update manager for ESXi1 we can click the attach baseline. So first you create a baseline, then you attach a baseline to each hypervisor one by one, and your name created baseline is showing there, so we select that. Your name created baseline is there, so we select that, and then we click OK. So all you need to do is select the baseline and press OK. Right? So once you attach the baseline, right? So this, yeah.
So please repeat.
Yeah. So from where?
Sir, from going to ESXi.
So you're on ESXi and you're on. Did you create the baseline already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then go to ESXi01, which is in bottom left recent objects. You can select from there as well. But go to once you're on ESXi, then go to the right side and you should see update manager here on ESXi. And if you see the update manager, then you see this attached baseline where Feroz is putting that attach baseline button, and select your baseline. So it will be your whatever baseline name you give there, that should be showing here. Select that and press OK. So whatever your baseline name is there, select that and press OK. Okay, so it is showing here. Now what we can do is we can click that second button, scan for updates. So scan for updates should make it will detect that, hey, whatever is in the baseline, is it already installed in this hypervisor? Obviously it's not, so it's gonna say it is not compatible or non-compliant, right? So let's click scan for updates and just press OK here. Patches and extensions and upgrades, it's gonna check all that. It's gonna check against the baseline now, scan for updates. So it's obviously nothing got we are installed, so it's not gonna find anything. So the unknown on the upper right should change to non-compliant or not compliant or uncompliant. But obviously because we did not deploy anything from baseline to the hypervisor, so it's going to say that, hey, I didn't find anything from the baseline. Obviously we did not install, that's why it will not be able to find anything yet, and it should say non-compliance. But if you don't do scan for updates, still okay, because we just need to deploy the updates now there. Although it's completed and you can refresh that screen, and that compliance should change, unknown should change to non-compliance. Sometimes it stays, yeah, there you go, non-compliant now. So later when the updates are fully installed, then we're going to check that here again, and at that time it is supposed to say compliant if your update has been completed. Now, so guys, how to implement all the updates from the baseline into the hypervisor. So there is that remediate button, second last button, this one, there's a remediate button. What is the purpose of remediate button? First of all, remediate just means deploy the patches. We're not gonna click the remediate button now, but this is the button that we will be clicking to install all the updates from the baseline to the hypervisor, right? So this button we will be checking. But before that, what is the prerequisite of deploying a patch? The prerequisite of deploying a patch is that the host has to be in maintenance mode. The host has to be in maintenance mode, then we click the remediate option. So right click on the host, and then you see from the top, the 671 maintenance mode, this one, and it actually shows here, do you want to enter the maintenance mode or enter maintenance mode? So yes, we're going to click maintenance mode. What is maintenance mode? It's like safe mode in Windows. Some of you may have seen that. So nothing works in maintenance mode. No virtual machines can work on maintenance mode. So let's click now the enter maintenance mode, and it is asking that, hey, if you have any virtual machines which are powered off or suspended, do you want me to move them away from this host? So we don't want it to move them again. So Paul says come again. So let's cancel out from here. Paul, from where do you want me to come back again? Come back again. So well, okay, so you have to right click on ESXi and then click this maintenance mode and then enter maintenance mode, I think, after overall compliance. Oh, okay. So yeah, so right click on ESXi1 and then go to maintenance mode. After right click on ESXi1 and click on the 7th one, that is the maintenance mode, this one. Yeah, and click enter maintenance mode. Right? So click that enter maintenance mode and then uncheck this option. We don't want any machines to be moved away from this hypervisor. Even if you check it here, it doesn't matter, but it's just gonna take some time. So uncheck that option, don't move any machine anywhere, and press OK. As soon as you press OK, it's going to put that hypervisor into maintenance mode, and you will see on the left side that the icon will change to as if a construction sign kind of icon here, the yellow and black one, right? So this host has already gone to maintenance mode. So after attaching the baseline to a host, you put the host to the maintenance mode, then you just deploy all the updates, right? Hopefully everyone has already unchecked or disabled the lockdown mode on each host. We did that all together, right? So let's click that remediate here. Remediate means, yes, I want to deploy all the updates from the baseline that I created, right? So this baseline is already showing here. So click the remediate button, guys. Click the remediate button and click the remediate button. Yeah, so this is the remediate button for just the hypervisor 1, right? So click the remediate button here, and then the baseline is already selected here. Nothing to do on the first page. Hopefully those who are following, you are seeing this in your screens as well, but let's go ahead now. Next. So be careful on this whole wizard, and if your machine is cooperating with you, then it's going to work. So yes, this is the only baseline we have, which is okay. So nothing to change here. It is on hypervisor 1, ESXi1, so that's okay. And patches, it shows here are 22, which is okay. And click next. And now it says that all patches have been selected. Do you want to still unselect anyone? No, we do not want to unselect anyone. It's okay. Please deploy all the patches for us, right? So that there are rollups, there are patch, there are updates. So let's click next. No changes on the previous screen. Those who are following, hopefully you are on the advanced options as we are. So here it says schedule this action to run later. No, we don't want to run it later. Ignore warnings about unsupported hardware devices. Well, we don't want any surprises here, so yes, click that. Ignore warnings about unsupported hardware, and let's check that out. Yes, it's checked, and yeah, so this just says that ignore warnings. So yeah, we want it to be successful, so we'll just check this and click next. And here it says that hey, you're in maintenance mode, so disable any removable media devices connected to the virtual machines on the host. Yes, select that. We don't want any surprises. We don't want the maintenance mode and patching to be stopped for any reason here. So let's make sure that disable any removable media is selected. Second thing is retry entering maintenance mode in case of failure. Yes, it is already selected, which is good. So on this page, host remediation options, one option that was not selected is also selected, which is disable any removable media. The next option is enable patch remediation of powered on Pixie booted host. We don't have any Pixie booted host. Pixie booted is that you remotely deploy the host over the network. So we don't have any such host that for which we have remotely deployed the A6i hypervisor software. So that's it. Well, there's another option here, but we on the screen we just select disable and that's it, and click next. On the screen it says that, hey, I'm about to patch your host, so what else you want disabled on this hypervisor A6i01? So the first option is disabled, which is DPM. Let's disable the second option, which is disable fault tolerance. Let's click that as well. So temporarily it's going to disable fault. Remember that we have a fault tolerant machine there, but we're going to simply disable it now, right? Just for the duration of the patching. And the third is disable high availability admission control. We know it is already disabled, but let's just, no surprises here, let's disable this one as well. We don't want any surprises, right? And then enable parallel remediation for the hosts in the selected clusters. Well, we don't want two hosts to be actually, we're going to be doing the second one as well, but not in this session, so let's keep it unchecked. The parallel remediation and migrate powered off suspended VMs, no, we don't want that as well. So the first option was selected already, but second and third option we selected ourselves. Disable fault tolerance and disable high availability admission. That's it. Let's click. Also, there is an option for save as default cluster remediation options. Yes. So, well, yeah, it's okay. Save that as default. This means that these options will always be selected whenever you remediate in future. We'll just remediate today. So let's click next. And kind of good luck for this. So everything is ready to complete, and hopefully you were able to follow that and click finish. We're gonna do exactly the same thing on second host as well. Guys, remember that it remains on 21% forever or for longer time, and then it shoots up to 70, 80, 90, and if all goes well, then it finishes. So the whole process of remediation is this, but some will have errors, some will be successful. So let's go for the second host. We just need to repeat the same thing. We need to go to the second host. We need to attach baseline to the second host as well. So let's click the attach baseline to the second host as well. Yes, and select our named baseline that we created and press OK. Okay, it is stuck at 33. Yes, so Sandeep says it is stuck at 33. Well, yeah, hopefully it just completes. Oh yeah, it is stuck here also in 33. So go to the second one, attach baseline just like this. We don't have to actually go for scan for updates. It already shows non-compliant. So let's go for remediate. Oh, first we right click and put that second host to maintenance mode. Make sure before you put it on maintenance mode that you attached the baseline. Attach the baseline to the second host and then go ahead and now put that host to maintenance mode just like before. All options will be same. Enter maintenance mode now. Let's click that. Uncheck this option for power off and suspended virtual machines and press O and K. Let's press OK here. And oh, seriously, what did we do? Did we press it went for the same options. Hey, did we just not remediate today? No, I mean like just now. Is it remediating? Yes, right. Yeah, it is remediating. It didn't take us through all the other options. Okay, so it when we selected the default options at the last time, so it just went ahead with those default options. So that's good.
No, it's just remediating the host 01.
Oh, so we hey, we didn't start the remediate, right? Or we did? Oh, we did just do it on maintenance mode. Sorry, we didn't click the remediate yet. So let's click the.
It's just remediating the host 01.
So let's click the remediate button. Yeah, so for E6i2 we're doing the remediate. So I thought that it was just remediating. So let's go ahead and click the remediate button on E6i2. So it's the same options. We have to just select our baseline and press next. Yes, the baseline is still E6i2 is selected now, which is okay. Next. And we're not gonna uncheck any patches, so next. Wow, it's 9:47. So ignore warnings about unsupported hardware devices. Yes, let's check that. And next, we're gonna disable any removable media devices and check it. So that's all. We do it on this page. And next. Oh yeah, save this. Save as default host remediation options. And next, we're going to disable. Oh well, it got the configuration from the previous wizard, and all three options are checked, which is okay. The rest of the options are not supposed to be checked, and we're good. And select the save as default and click next, and we're pretty much there again. And we click finish. Oh, your E6i1 is completed actually. Congratulations. So guys, if it is done, E6i1 is done because it says completed against that. So let's go to E6i1 while, oh, what happened? E6i1, yeah, let's click that E6i1 because we need to see the green compliance button there, like refresh, because it says completed there.
It's stuck at 33%. It's still remediating
Oh,
entry
E6i1
A6i1.
is not yet complete. Okay, I thought it was complete. Seriously. So E6i2 is going on, and E6i1 is still not complete. So we sit back and enjoy the show, and we just. Oh, it's on 93%. Woohoo! It shoots up to 93%. Yay! So what we need to see is green compliance instead of red non-compliant, right? We need to see green compliant instead of red non-compliant. So now the problem is that with vSAN, normally all the machines should be on same update level, and it requires 3 machines. So if many of us were not able to do the VUM lab, so we will make sure that the third machine is also not updated. Those who have updated the first 2 machines, when they introduce the third machine, they have to update the third machine from VUM as well. That's the only thing we need to remember. So remember, if you were able to successfully do the VUM, then in vSAN lab you have to, if you're following, then you have to do the third machine as well for VUM. Those who were not able to do that, do not update then the third machine on vSAN as well. So it seems like it's okay. Paul is showing a screen here, and if I click that, and oh, okay, now you won't be able to see that, so I'm only seeing that. Non-compliant for 3 after it is done, or Paul, keep refreshing. 22 applicable patches out of 28 it shows here, so it did not deploy all 28. So you can see the patch details there as well. Sometimes it says non-compliant, but majority of the patches that we needed are actually updated, are done. So try to refresh. Sandeep shows, okay, Sandeep is host patch shows compliant. So this is, oh, serious. You can just go for the WhatsApp because I was just showing that screen, but my screen is not showing. So you can see in the WhatsApp that Sandeep's A6i1 is actually compliant, and that's how it looks like. This error is just kicking us out, and you just have to either refresh and it comes back, or sign out, sign in. But let it just come back. If it comes back, this is okay. Mother says I didn't get the update manager. Oh. So only for now Sandeep is successful. Mother says I didn't get the update manager. Well, whether it is attached to the ESXi, ESXi1, ESXi2. If you didn't get it, then reinstallation has to be done for the update manager. Something was missing there, this means. And the update manager did not get fully installed successfully if it's not showing in the Vcenter. Or sign out, sign in from Vcenter and check, maybe it's there. So one should be compliant now at Feroz machine as well, hopefully. So one seems to be complete, and oh yeah, it shows compliant. So there you go. Congratulations. So guys, if it is compliant, then you can take out that machine from maintenance mode and put it back to enable the lockdown mode as well. Okay, so Khalid shows it is compliant as well. Congratulations. So Sandeep, Firoz, Khalid are all compliant. For some it might not work. For me, it's simply crashed. So the ESXi1 is compliant, and 2 is just taking its time, which is okay. So guys, we can just take out the 1, right click on ESXi1 and take it out from maintenance mode, which means, oh, okay, it's not showing yet exit maintenance mode. So yeah, we're gonna wait for that. So after some time, it's gonna show that it's, or maybe you put it.
I already did that.
Okay, that's good. And Feroz, you have to then go to ESXi1 on the DCUI, Direct Console User Interface, and enable back that lockdown mode as well. So you can show that on the video as well. Thank you for your cooperation on all this. As Neha says that she got error. Okay, so enable lockdown mode. So remediation entity Vsphere application could not. Yeah, so just check it, Feroz, and yes, that's it. Press enter and just press once escape, but it's not gonna ask you to save because it automatically saves that configuration. You're good. Vmware Vsphere update manager could. I'm doing on WhatsApp right now for Sneha. She got an error. Update manager could not restore HA admission control DPM settings for cluster. So Neha, if you have disabled those configurations like we did, then it should not come. But if you have disabled and still it's coming, then you can restart the wizard again. Check the cluster settings and restore them manually. Or if it is done already compliant, which stage are you at? I'm not able to see that. So okay, you will check that. Kavita says my server 2 till now is not in starting mode. Okay, so just take a screenshot of that, Kavita. It's okay. Jagan says, sir, my vSphere client is still not working even after waiting 1 hour. Ouch, 1 hour. Okay, take a screenshot of that, and that would be okay. So the second is compliant as well, or one? Okay, so yeah, one is compliant. Oh, second is still 95%. Okay, Sandeep's 2 is done as well. Congratulations on that. And so take it out from maintenance mode and go to ESXi2 and then enable the lockdown mode if it is done, but not before that. So this means that Firoz is also done. And then he's doing the enabling the lockdown mode again. So this is very crucial for security. So those who were not able to do that, guys, try to understand that for job purpose, that what's going on and why did we do that and how did we do that. So, and make a summary before going to the interviews, right? So this will be one of the interview questions, that how to configure VUM. So make summary for the job. Here you were not able to do that. I understand that those were not. So that's just upload the screenshots for whatever you were able to do, right? I still need some screenshots. So thank you, Feroz, for all this, and go ahead and upload whatever screenshots you have, guys, and see you next week, second last week, right? So we're gonna go for some critical labs. I will try to go for vSAN lab next week, so we can cover the most. That's one of the most important labs, vSAN, and this would be a demo. Or those who can join who are on, who have 32 GB RAM, those can also join, because we're gonna introduce a third machine. Okay, so that's it. Yeah.
So are we supposed to take a screenshot here?
If this compliant is done, if it shows compliant, yes. So take a screenshot of both E6i1 compliant. Take a screenshot there, and take a screenshot of E6i2 compliant. Those who were not able to do that, whatever error screenshot you have, it's okay. But those who are done, take a screenshot of compliant, and just take a screenshot name as E6i1 compliant and E6i2 compliant, right? So just take two screenshots here, one for E6i1 compliant, E6i2 compliant. Anthony says one is compliant and the other failed. Ouch. So Anthony, you can try again, otherwise take the screenshot of the failed one as failed, and that's okay as well, and upload that. If you want to keep on trying, so you can just retry again and until it is compliant. Otherwise, it's okay to have a screenshot of a failed one, because you at least you tried. Himan says, what about the ones who are not able to install VUM? So Himan, whatever screenshots you have for the errors, I would need that, because if the administration asks me that why did I give marks for that, so I can tell them that they tried and they reached till there, and yes, we expect errors. So that's why we need screenshots for the errors. If no screenshots are there, guys, then yes, I will have to cut marks. If no screenshots are there, or somebody else's screenshots are there, then it will be 0. No screenshots, somebody else's screenshots, 0, 0, and wrong screenshots. Suppose it's out of nowhere. I mean, we were not expecting that. Maybe some of the lab's screenshots. So then it's 0 again, right? So if the correct day's screenshots are there and error screenshots, then yes, you still get marks, because you were trying. Okay, guys, so this is it, and thank you, Feroz, for that. And I'll just so that is it. Sir, upload your screenshots. Go to your week 13. Okay, well, and thank you as well. So, and see you next week, right? So, and yes, the final week is the final quiz as well, and that's it. So we're gonna have final quiz, right? Bye, guys. So see you next week. Yay! Thank you. All right. Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, sir. Good night. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Bye.